course, the Battle of Alberta, the Calgary Flames, Edmonton Oilers. Mitch Marner plays his first game in the regular season as a Vegas Golden Knight. And of course, we have a first back-to-back spot of the season, the LA Kings visiting the Vegas Golden Knights after losing to the Colorado Avalanche. Guys, welcome to Puck Time. Andrew and Carmine here, as we are every day, 11 a.m. Eastern. Carm, I'm going to stick true to my guns with the whole, hey, offenses are there more than defenses out the gate, but 3-0 for the unders to start off the season, man. Wow.
Yeah, no, I get it in the Florida game. That was a tight checking affair, and I didn't want to lay that vig with Florida. And you couldn't have even felt comfortable in the third period. That was a close game throughout. That stayed somehow managed to stay under the total as well too. You needed pretty much a couple shots of espresso or a B12 shot in order to stay and watch the Rangers game. My God, that had to be one of the most boring games I have seen. Dating back to last season. It was the Rangers had zero pep. It was like Pittsburgh was using 5G network, and it was dial up for the New York Rangers. So we'll see. It's one game into the season. You can sort of expect this, and this is why, Andrew, I say to you, and I say to everyone, to tread lightly, sort of that first week. Rangers were minus 220. I said on the show yesterday, that's absurd. And then Colorado did, which I thought Colorado would do last night, which was get the win. So I was pretty happy about that as well too. And then as far as yesterday's prop bets, they fared pretty well as well too. Anyone who jumped on board Carter for Verhaeghe. He had a ton of shots on goal. We talked about it on your show. Samasevich to get a point at plus 115. He got there. The only one that didn't get there was Landeskog, anytime goal scorer, Andrew. But in hindsight, that was probably a bad play because they are limiting his ice time. I think he only played about 10 to 11 minutes last night. They want him to last the season. So it's not going to be and he's not even on the number one unit. So maybe look at the Neckes props, because Andrew, him and McKinnon kind of look like Connor McDavid and who's the former Leaf, Zach Hyman, who just had to keep his stick on the ice and would score goals.
Zach Hyman, exactly. Looks very similar to that situation there, Carm. Hats off to you with the props. A great night. And my $5 Tuesday best bet was the Colorado Avalanche. So a ton of you guys joined me. $5 Tuesday. What better of a day to start off the NHL season than $5 Tuesday to get a ton of you guys with me on the Colorado Avalanche. Loved that play and happy we got there. And the free play of the day, which was also a 3% play for me and clients. The first period over, Blackhawks and Panthers. Man, 10 minutes, no goals. You start getting a little bit worried. And then it's 2-1 after the first period. So you got to love that. Shout out to Ty. He told me I was in the wrong mic. Been doing this forever, and sometimes you still don't know if you're got the right one going. Jay is with us, the Godfather. Ken, Robert, RJ, Alex, appreciate that. Made some money, woke up richer. Hey, hopefully we can keep doing that because it's only day one of the season. Carm, let's move on to today, though. Before we do, we'll remind people, guys, if you like the videos, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and do not forget about the great code. We have NHL 200. We'll take $200 off a full season package. We're going to give you guys free plays here every day. Even people that are subscribers to us watch Puck Time because they're getting even more plays. But all of our best bets, our favorite plays, you can find at wt.buzz/AM or wt.buzz/CB. All right, Carm, before you get the Montreal Canadian fan perspective here, you let me know what you think about this one. Every year, these two teams, they open the season against each other, Toronto and Montreal. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's weird. It's like feast or famine between these two when they meet in that first week of the season. I remember going to a game with Prez, and this was like back in 21, I believe. And Andrew, this was during when they allowed some fans into the stadium, sort of post-pandemic, as far as the NHL goes in 21. And that game finished 2-1 for the Leafs. There wasn't much happening in that game. A couple of years ago, we see a slugfest. The Leafs win 6-5, I believe, in OT in that one against Montreal. And then last year, the Montreal Canadiens at home at the Bell Center, a unbelievable performance by their goalie in that one. Was it Montebo? I think it was Montebo. They win and shut out the Leafs 1-0. So it's feast or famine between these two. And I'm not entirely sure it's going to be feast tonight because I'm going to stick with my narrative on the Leafs going into the season that Craig Berube wants his team to play a better defensive game. They tried to do it last year. I did it successfully for most of the season, but and even in the playoffs. But can they do it for a full season? It's kind of like the Florida Panthers, different team, different makeup, different players. But Paul Maurice, they eventually bought into his system, and when they did buy into his system, they turned into a high caliber team. I would lean the under here. I wish it was 6.5. I'd be all over the under. It's 6, shaded slightly to the over, 11 cents to the over. I'm seeing on the line. And I'd probably a slight lean, Andrew, on. I know you're a Montreal fan, and a lot is expected of the Montreal Canadiens this season with their off-season acquisitions and getting better, and another season with Lane Hudson. But minus 167 on the Leafs to open at home. I would probably lean there. It is about the high-end guys of the VIG that I would normally lay on a game. I don't lay anything normally higher than like 170 because I think you have to be extremely, extremely successful at the high end in order to eke out a profit on the season if you're betting minus 170 favorites every single night, which I'm not going to be doing. But with that said, Andrew, slight lean to the under. Toronto Maple Leafs, 3-2 final.
Ooh.
Maybe an OT.
3-2 final. Well, I remember this, Carmen. You talked about Sam Montembeault standing on his head, and I know I can't really handicap a game right now on October 8th of 2025 based on a game that happened, I think, October 6th, 2024. But at the end of the day, I mean, like you said, that game last year could have had 10 goals, could have had at least 5 goals, we'll say. You know, the fact that it finished 1-0 was crazy. Sam Montembeault, it was a Cole Caulfield power play goal first period. Then after that, there was pretty much nothing as far as the goals were concerned. There was nothing as far as things were concerned. I got the lineups here, Carm. I want to just bring this up real quick. Matthew Nyes, Austin Matthews, Matthias Michelli are going to be together. This is what they're projecting here. So they are deciding to drop Max Domi into the bottom 6. People were projecting, were they going to be bottom 6? Was he going to be top 6? But they want Michelli pretty much filling in for that Marner role right away. Big shoes to fill. Here's the thing I think people forget about with Mitch Marner. And I know he's not the most physical player by any means, but it's very similar to how I feel about Alexander Barkov for the Florida Panthers. He's not just an offensive player. Like, I know Marner wasn't a physical guy. He wasn't an in-your-face guy, but he was a good two-way forward. You know, and of course, Austin Matthews has made a name for that as well. When you lose a guy like Marner, you're not just losing your offensive touch, you're losing defensive touch as well. He was a good both ends, 200-foot type of player. So going to be interesting to see from that perspective. I'm going to say 2 things, Carm. We'll see what ends up happening. First period over might be a look for me in this one. Just we got a couple different guys on each roster that want to make a name for themselves. You know, this Montreal Canadiens lineup is real interesting with Caulfield, Suzuki, Slavkovsky. That's the mainstay lineup. The second line, Newhook, Kapanen, Demidov, Bolduc, Doc, Gallagher, Laine, Evans, Josh Anderson. They've got Patrick Laine on the 4th line. That's how they feel about his speed level right now, Carm. They don't trust him to be able to skate with the two lines above. They don't trust him to be able to be fast enough to skate with Bolduc or Newhook and those guys, putting him on the fourth line. So I think we're going to see a lot of new combos do well offensively. We'll see how they fare defensively, but I think we should see some goals. But here's the deal. And before we move on, we got to get to a lot of games, I know.
Yeah.
I've been mapping things out just like you do, and I'm going to take Montreal in their first two games of the season. They're playing the Leafs and they're playing the Red Wings. They find themselves being plus money in both those games. Carm, I think at very worst, they go 1-1 in those two games. They made the playoffs last year. Detroit didn't. They got better in the offseason. Detroit didn't. They got Noah Dobson. They got Zach Bolduc. They picked up Demidov, or they got him for this season now. I think that, hey, it's obviously a bigger price, a bigger plus money against Toronto. If they win tonight, I don't play it again in Detroit. If they lose, I play it again in Detroit, and I hope that they, at worst, go 1-1 in their first two games. What do you think? Am I crazy here, or does the team that went the playoffs last year maybe not deserve to be plus money against Detroit?
Man, that almost sounds like the martingale system of betting NHL hockey. I don't mean to besmirch you or what have you, but I completely understand what you're saying. And I think Marty St. Louis has kind of changed the culture in that dressing room. The players in there are buying into his system. They're playing a lot better. They see with the moves that they're making, bringing some guys in, that the team is serious about winning. It is now everyone needs to pull together and do it. The one thing, and guys, I'm going to harp on this probably for the first week or so, and maybe into next week, is, when we throw out some stats and trends, I think it's important when you're betting these games is not to apply mid-season form on the beginning of the season games. Yeah. I mean, you look at games like Florida and Chicago, and you're thinking Chicago last place 3 years in a row, Florida Stanley Cup winners, raising the banner. They got their rings the night before. They're just going to pound them. You can't do that at the beginning of the season. And Chicago gave them a game. And it's the same thing with Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? Like, I have the under total, Andrew, for Pittsburgh as points. Am I pissed that they lost last night? No, because I know that whether you win or lose season point totals, Andrew, comes down to the middle of the season, those 6, 7, 8 game spurts where you lose 7 in a row, 8 in a row, that completely guts the team. The Buffalo Sabres last year, I think 13 at one point, 13 or 14 games in a row they lost. That is what guts a team, not winning a few games at the beginning of the season. And teams with depth avoid those ones. Good teams with depth definitely avoid those long losing streaks. So we shall see. But we'll see what the Montreal Canadiens have to do. Guys, we're going to cover all 4 games today on today's show. So you definitely better hit that like button as well, too. And then tomorrow we have the Prez coming on first, and then Brian Leonard. And hopefully he chooses the Vegas Golden Knights game tomorrow night to discuss.
Yes, sir.
But
I like this one, Carm. Before we go to the next one, TransCanada said line A over 1.5 shots looks money. He'll bank on that power play. So that's kind of the interesting thing, right? Everybody thinks right now all he is a power play guy. And, well, last year he scored 20 goals, Carm. He had 15 on the power play. That's pretty much all he was last year, was a power play guy. Whether or not he's on the PP1 or he's on the PP2, I like that over 1.5 shots as well. So I saw a few guys in here mentioning that one. I like that. I mean, Gerald, Patrick Laine, fourth line, how far has he fallen? It seems like value to me. So over 1.5, I'm up for it for sure. I like that one quite a bit here. Sorry, Carm, back to you.
Yeah, I got to fix this. I'm wearing WagerTalk swag. I needed to make sure I'm not wearing the same top as you on today's show. I went with the grayish hoodie today. I'll go back to my polo shirts on the next show. But Andrew, we got a lot to discuss and maybe answer a couple of questions. So let's hit the Bruins and Capitals. Capitals, I'm seeing 188 on the Caps, plus 153 on the Bruins. 5.5 is the total on this one. I'm going to toss it to you first, Andrew, for your thoughts. I'm hoping we don't have the same thought on this one, because then I'm just going to have to say ditto and move on to the next game.
All right. Look, I mentioned this on my show last night, and I feel like this is a good opportunity for my first under bet of the season. Not sure if it'll make the client card quite yet. We did see 3 unders to start off the regular season yesterday, even though we kind of were expecting some more action. But when I look at both these teams, I don't expect a ton of offense, especially when it comes to the Boston Bruins. Number one, Jeremy Swayman didn't have his contract signed until a little bit into the season last year. Was it like a week or two, Carm? I can't remember exactly what it was, but when it comes down to it, he didn't have a full training camp with the team, and it clearly impacted him. Jeremy Swayman didn't look like himself to start off the regular season last year. This Boston Bruins team, of course, no more Brad Marchand. It feels like it's David Pastrnak alone on an island. Who else is going to score for this team? Who else is going to produce offense for this team? I'm not sure who's going to be that offensive character for them besides David Pastrnak. But when I look at them and their goaltending, look at the Washington Capitals, and you even think back to the last 15 games of the season last year to how the Capitals played. Shut down hockey, defensive hockey, physical hockey, and good goaltending. I know in this day and age, it's not hard to get over 5.5. But as we saw yesterday, in the first day of the season, you get a couple patches of defensive hockey with not much going on. Just like that, it's very hard, to get 2 or 3 in the last 10 minutes of a period to get this game over. This is my first time of the season, Carm. I am leaning towards an underplay. I think the Bees and the Caps could take us there. Then again, my one worry, the Bruins have a lot of players looking to make names for themselves. Sometimes early in the season, similar to how Pittsburgh played well yesterday, nobody likes the Bruins this year. Nobody liked the Penguins going into yesterday. We'll see which team today can pull off the upset. We've got, of course, the Kings as dogs, the Flames as dogs, the Bees as dogs, and the Habs as dogs. Carm, all 4 road teams are underdogs today. There's going to be at least one upset knocking on that door. We'll see which team it is. What are your thoughts here? Are we on the same page in this game? What do you think about the whole under style and both these teams playing good D?
Yeah, I think once we're done the 4 games, I will give you what I think is my live dog amongst the 4 games. But this is one. A lot is expected or is not expected of the Bruins this season, and that's why they have that low point total, I believe, at something like 80.5 points for this team. But it's basically it's pasta, it's geeky, and where's the other scoring going to come from with Marchand now in Florida, enjoying the surfing, the sun, and the Stanley Cup ring. So we'll see what comes of the Bruins. It's another season of Jeremy Swayman. You know what I mean? He got the bag last year, Andrew. He wanted that contract. He held out. He got the money. He worked better in a 2-goalie system with Linus Ullmark, who's in Ottawa right now. I'm not sure how this season is going to go for him as well. One of the things with the Capitals is getting off to another good start, much like they did last season. They did lose their opener last season, but they went on something like a 10-1 or 10-2 run, and just never looked back in winning the Eastern Conference. The one thing, when I look at it is like their team totals. Last year, their team totals in 92 total games that they played, season and playoffs, they were 51-41 to team totals. At home, they were 27-20 to the team total. They averaged 3.73 goals per game last season at home. What about the Bruins? The Bruins on the road allowed 3.78 goals per game. The team total sits here at 3.5 plus 105 on the over. These are normally, that's your territory, Andrew. I have swum into your end of the your deep end here with the team totals, and I'm taking the Washington Capitals over 3.5 goals plus 105.
I
You can
like it.
still hit your under 4-1.
Yep.
4-1's good.
That's true. I can still hit the under, and Carm, that price tag is the best price tag for me. The plus 100, plus 105. I can't explain what it is, as Odds Logic is giving us a live update on the Daniil Medvedev tennis match. Thank you, Odds Logic. I can't explain what it is, but that plus 100, plus 105 price tag has always been something I've liked. It just always has. I like it. It's like when a team is like minus 135 over their team total, I don't really love it as much. I'll give you guys an example. Yesterday, Colorado, they were plus 145, and guess what the New York Rangers were over their team total? Minus 120, 125. Yeah, they did nothing. They got shut out. Also, Carm, we'll see if the quote-unquote system play that started up last year is alive because, well, we pretty much had a team like the Kings get shut out, and we did have the Rangers get shut out. So we'll see if we get more goals involved those games moving forward. But, yeah, those teams look pretty flat out the gate. All right, the team total, Washington Capitals, they've got depth. That's the biggest thing about them. They've got depth. Vito is in here saying, love that this show is back. Our boy Wash Redskin. Here we go. I'll take my Caps minus 1.5, plus 145. He's loyal, Carm. He's loyal. I like it. I want to mention one thing. We're going to be taking questions at the end of the show, guys. And I have a few of you guys already. Timothy, Leroy, Kevin, and Thomas. I'm going to star your messages. I'm going to stash them away until the end of the show. So, guys, feel free to ask any questions. We'll go back at the end of the show and make sure we touch on them. I like this one. Fortunate, not going to hold my breath in the Kings tonight, scoring goals in the desert tonight. Well, their offense didn't look very good yesterday, did it, Carm? This offense was dry.
But I've got a take on that one once we discuss the Alberta rivalry here. What's it called there? No, it's not the Alberta double. It's just the Alberta rivalry.
The Battle of Alberta.
Battle of Alberta. Yes, the Battle of Alberta, Andrew. Edmonton, minus 218. Calgary, plus 176. The over rate, the total right now is 6, shaded 17 cents to the over. Andrew, I'm going to say this. With these big prices, again, tread lightly. Why? Let's not forget, last year, the Edmonton Oilers got off to a slow start. Made it to the Stanley Cup Finals, but they lost their first 3 games of the season. What did they do the year prior? Made it to Stanley Cup Finals, but how did they start the season? They started by losing 6 of their first 7 games, 10 of their first 12 games before their coach did the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and he was tossed out of the mansion. Andrew, it is lane 218 with the Oilers. I can't do it. And, the problem is, and this is, I could be wrong at the end of the day and all the favorites end up winning, but I don't want people to think, well, the Oilers, 218, you got to take them and you just add Washington, you ask Vegas, and you end up with a good little parlay at plus money because one of them, you have to go perfect 3-0. One of them ends up losing and you're toast. Your money is down the drain. That's why from that parlay perspective, just tossing in favorites. And some of you guys know, come on, how many of you guys have played those 7 or 8 leg parlays where you're like, let me just add this minus 1,000 at the end to get it up 15 cents. And that's the game that ends up losing. I have seen it from my friends. So I know that it happens to everyone, Andrew.
It's the game you least expect to screw you over all the time.
I'm hoping for a better start from the Edmonton Oilers. That the last 2 seasons are in the rear view mirror. But when they play the Calgary Flames, guys, it's like the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens. These are rivalry games where these teams just love to beat each other. And Calgary at the beginning of the season went into Edmonton and beat them 3-0, I believe. It might have been one of those first 3 games. So with that said, I'm not laying the 218. I'm not even taking regulation. I'm going to watch this game and maybe hope for some goals. Maybe this is one of the games where we see some goals, Andrew. So at 6, it's playable. At 5, at 6.5, I wouldn't touch it.
I'm going to give out a play here, Carm, and this is going to be a client play here. I like this one quite a bit, and a lot of the reasons why I'm feeling generous today is because I think I love tomorrow's card on Thursday. So there'll be a lot of best bets and client-only plays for tomorrow. I think Edmonton gets off to a fast start. I talked about how yesterday I find it a little bit tough to believe that we're going to see the Panthers motivated from day one. Although they did lose Barkov and Tkachuk for a while, they did look a little flat at certain points, even though they got off to a good start. Look, Edmonton, it's going to be hard as hell to go back for 3 straight years to the Stanley Cup Finals. It's going to be real hard. And I think there's going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be certain times of the year where we see an Edmonton Oilers team that just can't wait for the playoffs. I remember you used to always say it. The Tampa Bay Lightning are on cruise control. I believe that was the expression that you would use. They're getting ready for the playoffs. Last year, the Panthers didn't win the division. They were getting ready for the playoffs. I think Edmonton shows up here tonight in the Battle of Alberta. I'm on the first period puck line in this one here, Carm. Let's pull up Odds Logic. We love breaking it down with Odds Logic. Shout out to Odds Logic, best odds page in the game. And looking at Circa right now, at Circa plus 130, Bet Online plus 125, FanDuel plus 130, Westgate plus 125, DraftKings plus 114. So guys, there you go. The worst number is at DraftKings. So avoid DraftKings if you want this bet. We have no affiliation with any sports book on this show. We want you guys to get the best of the number. I love this play. I think that Edmonton gets off to a real fast start. And like I said, the best number out there available right now is around plus 130, courtesy of FanDuel, courtesy of Circa. Just real quick, Carm, Trent Frederick, he used to be kind of like a fighter with the Boston Bruins and a third line guy. They're pairing him up with Leon and Connor. I love that. It's like, okay, we're going to start the season. And they always say that not every game are Leon and Connor going to play together, but in this game, they're going to. And if anybody messes with them, anybody hits them bad, Trent Frederick's right there. But he can also play hockey too. And then I think you look at that third line, Isaac Howard's making his first start of his career. You know how it goes, Carm. Whenever players make their NHL first start, something could happen. There could be some value on player props for Isaac Howard.
Yeah, guys in our chat who are familiar with the Oilers and those and teams like that, like Chuck Pod, will remember the Gretzky days of having Dave Semenko on that line. You touched Gretzky, and you were picking up your chiclets off the ice and giving them to the trainer to push them back into your gums between periods. But that's just the way it was. You protect your stars. So. We'll see. It should be a good game. The Battle of Alberta is always a good one. We've got some really good games, I have to believe. So we'll see how it goes, Andrew, as far as this one goes. But with that said, before we get to some questions, we got to talk about this Vegas Golden Knights LA Kings game. So
let's do it. We got a guy here expecting a blowout in this game. He said the game is tomorrow. Hopefully, the game is tonight. I'm not sure what time zone you're in here, but the game is tonight, but he thinks it's going to be a blowout. What do you think?
Petrus Edward Jr. Is that like what the wine Petrus, or that's it's spelled differently, but it's a very good wine, an expensive one. Vegas minus 200, the LA Kings plus 162. The total sits here at 6. Andrew, I am going to go back to a stat that I was giving you guys at the beginning of last season, in the first couple of weeks of the season, first 2-3 weeks of the season. And it was extremely profitable. And then it just sort of tailed off. And that's where you jump off of the train and you say, okay, I've had enough. And that was the Vegas first period overs at home. Last year, first 6 games of the season at home, 6-0 first period overs. The first 12 games at home, 10-2 over. They catch an LA Kings team coming off of a game last night, quick flight. It's a hopper flight from LA to Vegas, as long as they're not on JetBlue, because Andrew, nothing beats a JetBlue holiday.
Nothing
But
does. No.
nothing beats a JetBlue holiday. JetBlue, sponsors of Puck Time. No. With that said, I'm going to take over 1.5 in this game. Vegas Golden Knights, LA Kings, first period over 1.5, -125. Maybe the Knights catch them a little leg tired to start, which it sounds ridiculous normally 2 games into the season. But I saw the interviews during the game last night and then post game with Hiller, the coach of the Kings, and he said they made too many mistakes and too many mistakes to give the Colorado Avalanche. I have to believe that they're going to be better tonight, better enough to beat the Vegas Golden Knights. I would not be surprised, Andrew, at +162 if they ring that bell and cash the ticket tonight in Vegas. That's your live dog.
I like it. But I worry about the fact that Vegas's offense is so improved. This could be a track meet as well, which like I gotta be the old Teddy Covers from WagerTalk today. So, Carmine, if you think that LA could win, how many goals do they have to score? That's my question to you. Because Vegas is probably going to get theirs, right? How many goals do you think LA?
3-2 LA.
Wow.
1-1 after 1. So the first period over cashes.
Okay.
I'm speaking as a gambler right now, as a betting person. 1-1 after 1 with both goals coming early, so I don't have to sweat the last 5 minutes of the first period. And I can watch the Jays game if it's still going on. God, I don't even want to talk about that one from yesterday.
Yeah,
but and then Kings get ahead and win the game 3-2. So I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I do believe the LA Kings have a very good team. They were somewhat embarrassed first game at home on home ice to the Colorado Avalanche, which is a very good team. So I have a feeling they've got to be better tonight. You would think they were going to be better tonight. We'll see if that actually happens.
I don't love the odds for this, Carm, but I'm going to fall for the bait right now of a guy making his debut with Mitch Marner. Except we're not going to take the goal. I'm going to take the assist. It's -130. Some books have 35. Mitch Marner is a playmaker at heart. He can score goals, but he's a playmaker at heart. He'll set up Jack Eichel. He'll set up Mark Stone. He'll set up his teammates, Barbashev. That's what he'll be there for, especially attracting people, drawing them in, and dishing that puck off. I don't necessarily love taking assist props at a minus price like that, but that's something I'm kind of interested in. But you got me, Carm. Look, it's not exactly the system bet from last year because the Kings didn't get shut out. Kevin Fiala sniped one top corner in like the dying 2 minutes of the game, but it pretty much is. This is the perfect scenario. A back-to-back team traveling, and they pretty much got shut out. They didn't exactly get shut out, but they pretty much got shut out, and they got owned by the Avalanche. Give me the first period over in this one, guys. We cashed the Panthers and Hawks first period over yesterday. Let's cash this one, the late night play of the day. I will decide if I have any props or sides, full game totals in this one. Those will be sent out to clients after the show and into the afternoon a little bit. But today's going to be a prop package and a handful of picks. You guys did hear a lot of the picks that I'm going to be releasing today. But it's going to be a great day, Carm. Today, no 4% plays for me. Again, shout out to everybody that cashed with me on the Avalanche. It's going to be a package at WagerTalk.com with just a handful of my plays that you guys can grab in one spot. But that promo code still available. NHL 200 works for you, works for me. Guys, $200 off our full NHL season pack. We're both ready to go on a huge run. Carm was dialed in yesterday with his props already. And we got a huge slate tomorrow as well. Yeah,
I just didn't think there was anything strong enough to release to my clients yesterday. which is why I mentioned to you guys the prop plays that that I liked. And the first play of the season is tonight, so you can pick that up over at WagerTalk. Andrew, the first week, the 10 days of the season, I will have plays, of course, but I'm going to let you. This is like, if have you ever watched what's that show on TV, that tuna show, Big Tuna or whatever the heck it's called? I'm going to let you, the Prez,
Am I testing
Brian
the water for
Leonard,
you?
Brian Leonard. I'm going to let you guys swim out. Sometimes you got to give the tuna some string. I'm going to let you guys swim out, and then I'm going to reel you guys in,
Okay.
and then stab you guys in the neck and with the thing there, put you on board and sell you guys for $18 a pound. So that's what I am planning on doing this NHL season on my rise to the top. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, let's look at some questions here, Carm, and you're going to reel us in come end of October. We'll see what happens with that. I'm looking to get off to a hot start. No hesitating on my end this year. Shout out to Timothy. And Timothy also says, how y'all doing new to puck time? Timothy, thanks for being here. Carm and I are here every day, 11 a.m. Eastern. Both of us are best bets at WagerTalk every day. Carm, I'll let you go first with this one. I got a question for y'all. How often do you factor betting splits into your wagers? Does lopsided action push you away from making a wager on said team?
Well, first of all, lopsided action won't push me off of a team. I know that people tend to say if everyone is on one side or the squares are on one side, they get it right. We see it in the NFL where books have taken, other than last week, where books have taken a hit the first few weeks with teams that are supposed to winning. And I think the same goes for the NHL. I think the cream eventually rises to the top. I think the NHL is harder to bet at the end of the season just because of the sort of the gulf between the better teams and the ones at the bottom. And you don't know if they're tanking or not. And the prices are overblown. You now have games that normally mid-season would be much like this Vegas game, let's say minus 200 plus 162. And you'll see one of the bottom feeders that are playing a team that is minus 340. And it's like, minus 340, this is ridiculous, unless they're playing with no goalie. As far as splits, I think splits are important. I think you have to look at home and away. A trend sort of establishes throughout the year. You can see teams that go on road trips and aren't very good on the road. But if you can identify teams that are very good on the road and they get off to a good start, especially on a long road trip, I think you need to ride them because a lot of the times they're going to be plus money. Brings to mind 2 years back, the Seattle Kraken go on the road and win all 8 games on the road on the East Coast, pretty much plus money every single game. I think they were plus money every single game. So with that said, splits, I think splits are important. I use it for European football as well too. The splits, there are just some teams that are very good at home and just can't win to save their lives on the road. So I think you need to to keep that in sort of like your handicapping portfolio.
Yeah, for me, I'll just say that that's one of the reasons why I started doing my night show was to follow the money, follow the opening lines, using odds logic, look at the numbers. And then when we wake up and we're on puck time and looking at the afternoon, we can see where the money is going. So when you're asking, does lopsided action push you away from making a wager on that team? Well, I think sometimes it can be positive money coming in on a certain team. And sometimes, hey, you don't want to get the wrong price. You missed a good number, or, this team is a bit overinflated. Like yesterday, Carmen and I said it, and both of us don't even like the Penguins going into this season. We both said it. And this is something that Andy Lang always says on WagerTalk today. It's easier for bad teams to be bad than good teams to be good. But guess what? A bad team is only bad once they start actually being bad. Pittsburgh doesn't know they're a bad team yet. Nobody's told them yet. They haven't played like it yet. It's game 1 of the season. So the fact that they were, plus 160. What was it? 70. I mean, New York were like minus 225. They were huge favorites. So, Timothy, the biggest one that I'll say to you guys is this. And I got this from a guy who shows it all the time, Jeff Dawson. He loves the overnight flips. Like if you see an opening line the night before, like even yesterday, the game was pick'em for LA and Colorado. Overnight, wake up in the morning, Colorado was minus 120 at a lot of books. You can kind of respect the book's action that way. So depends on what you look at. But Carmine, you are so deep into the NHL, we don't really care about what the odds are doing, what the money's doing. We trust our own research. Leroy says unders went 3-0 yesterday. Early season jitters, etc. Stand to reason. Same applies tonight. Not that I'm going to blind bet all unders, but something to think about. I'm going to say, Carm, I saw good goaltending yesterday. I thought I saw good goaltending as well.
Yeah, I don't think what happened yesterday has any effect on what is going to happen tonight. I think the matchups last night, the Kings normally play a very good defensive game at home, made some mistakes, were made to pay for it, and losing that game 4-1. Artur Shilov's played phenomenal for Pittsburgh, and he likely can stamp himself as the number one goalie there because Tristan Jarry, who has that contract, I think he still has 4 years at $4.5 million AVV or AAV. I can never get those ones correct on his contract. And this is a guy who had a losing record last season, a goals against average above 3, and a save percentage below 9. The save percentage is probably the most troubling one. So, yeah. And then, of course, the Florida-Chicago game. You don't expect a lot of offense from a Chicago team when they're playing a very good Florida team. So you can make a case for why those games all stayed under. It's obviously it's easier to be the armchair quarterback on a Monday for the Sunday games. But with that said, so we got some rivalry games here. We'll see how it goes. But I wouldn't think they all go under. But tonight, I'm hoping we see some very good games, though.
Yeah, and like we saw a lot of teams play that, like you said, that last year I've been using natural stat trick, and I'll look at 2024 all situations, expected goals against or expected goals for, and different situations like that. We had one here. There we go. Fortunate. That does seem like a huge line for a rivalry game. Which goaltender would you rather have in that Oilers game? So here's what I'm going to say is that both teams actually roughly had the same expected goals against on the season. I think they were actually like next to each other, Carm, when I looked at natural stat trick on the full season. But here's the difference. The Oilers were like number 2 or 3 as far as expected goals for is concerned. Like we always say this, if the Oilers get an average outing out of Stewart Skinner, and we're not trying to be offensive to him, then they're in good shape. My answer is going to be this, Carm. I think the Flames were carried by goaltending last year. Some people think they're going to be better this year and have a chance. When you see a team, like I'll be the first one to say it. The Montreal Canadiens were like, they were number 4 or 5 as far as the 5th most expected goals against last year. People think that Sam Montembeault isn't an NHL number 1 goalie. Whoever says that is crazy because he bailed them out of a ton of games last year. So, I obviously think Calgary has better goaltending, I'd say, even though, Stewart Skinner's had his good games in the playoffs, don't get me wrong, but I think that the offense just overcomes that for the Oilers. What do you think?
Yeah, no, listen, I like Skinner. I think he gets blamed. He's had some bad games, but a lot of goalies do. I think he gets blamed more than he gets the accolades when he has a very good game. So it's obviously tough for him. I read that I think yesterday that he should be starting tonight. So we'll see. I couldn't see how they wouldn't start him tonight unless there was some sort of an injury and such for him. But when we mention like books, and it's not to put down certain books or what have you. DraftKings sort of shades their lines because they know the makeup of sports bettors that they want to take an over. They put it at 6.5 instead of 6, and you see 6 is across the board yesterday, and you see a 6.5 at DraftKings. It makes it a little tougher for you to bet in times. And the juice is always moving. The juice on player props will move. And I'll use a different sport. Andrew, you and I were talking, and I was on WagerTalk last week, and I talked. I think it was with Ariel Epstein about one, and that was the Sam Darnold. Yeah, it is Sam Darnold, the Rams quarterback. Sorry, Rams quarterback. His rushing props are always half a yard. Last year, 12 games, first 12 games of the season, he had no rushing yards or minus rushing yards. It wasn't until week 13. This year, 4 or 5 games, I believe, he has had 0 or fewer yards. One game where he scrambled for 15 yards. You and I were talking while I was betting this one. It went from while we're on the phone, minus 137, minus 150, minus 160. The VIG is moving too quickly. At one point, at some point, it's unbettable, Andrew. And that's the same goes for NHL player props. At some point, you get, as much as you like the prop, the VIG prices you out of it, and you just have to pass it by, regardless of whether it wins or loses. You have to just move on. Just because it's there does not mean you have to bet it.
Sometimes it just gets a little bit too much, too rich for your blood. Yesterday, for example, I went 1-1 with my player props. Which one was the one I lost? The one that was minus 146. Which was the one that I won? The plus 100. So I went 1-1, but I lost money, and of course the one, that lost was the one that was, heavily favored. That's just the way she goes sometimes. All right, Carm's back in action tonight in the NHL, WT.buzz/CB. Myself, I will have a package up with just all of my plays, everything that I like. You know what? I'm going to throw everything in. So at some point, you guys are going to get sides, totals, maybe same game parlay, props, all of it into one package. Guys, don't miss that. Off the 4% winner yesterday. And NHL 200 is still that promo code. Carm, I got to give you credit. You had that set up before I did. I copied you on that one. NHL 200.
It's all good.
But we're going to go into Wager Talk today, man. So we got to get out of here before we start talking to Andy Lang, and we're on the wrong show right now. So anything you want to mention, Carmen? If you want, you can close it out, man. We got to go.
Yeah, a lot of you guys took advantage of the $5 play as part of Customer Appreciation Day. That goes on Sunday. It's an NFL best bet. Just a fantastic run right now with NFL 4% and 5% plays, which normally all of my plays are. 7-1 the last 2 weeks. And if it wasn't for the Kansas City Chiefs kind of pooching that last one on Monday night, it would be 8-0 for me with those. The NHL 200 is available. You can get every single play in the NHL, including 5% plays for the season and playoffs. If you want a mix of the NHL and NFL, send our customer service an email, but bear with it. They're a little shorthanded at the moment, or send me a message on Twitter or the X, whatever you call it, and I will get you a coupon code to get you both of those, football and NHL, the full seasons at a discounted price.
All right, Carm, combo package, NHL, NFL. Hope you crush it. Hope you guys all got Carmine's NFL play yesterday, but he's back in action on the ice. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Hit the like button on the way out. It really does more for us than you guys can imagine. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Welcome to Wager Talk Day, to the gold standard of sports. We definitely walk the walk. It is Wednesday. Midweek board is loaded. Ralph Michaels has got 2 college football games we're going to break down and get you an edge there. Teddy Covers is going to join in and break down some baseball games. We got Blue Jays, Yankees, Phillies, Dodgers. And then we're going to do This Line Makes No Sense. I'm going to try and convince Teddy that there's a line that is way off in the NFL. It was a great $5 Tuesday for myself and for clients. If you guys joined in on that play, first off, thank you very much. And second, hope you're enjoying the money. It was a wild, wild night on Contender Series. Biggest bet of my entire life last night. It was great. It was a great, great night. But we're going to get started with Ralph Michaels. We're going to bring in Ralph here and talk about some teams that, Ralph, I'll just be honest, I have not watched 1 second of some of these teams here, but doesn't mean there's not an edge here. So we're going to get you started with Missouri State and Middle Tennessee. How do you break this game down? It's a 2-point spread for Missouri State, over under 50. Tell me something about these teams, because I know nothing about these guys.
Andy, what's really exciting is from now to Thanksgiving, we basically almost have football every day. Action starts next Tuesday and Wednesday. CUSA scheduled these early season games. So I love October for football because, as you said, if there's an injury in Alabama, Missouri, we all know about it. If there's an injury in this game, and we're going to talk about it, keeping me off tonight's game is something that you have to dig a little deeper for. First off, it is Missouri State, their first year in the FBS, heading to Middle Tennessee State. Oh, yeah, by the way, Middle Tennessee State has not won an FBS game at home since November 18th, 2023. That's almost 2 seasons they have not won an FBS game at home. You look at their stat profile. Missouri is number 112 in yards per play diff. And I like looking at yards per play diff, the offensive minus the defense. Yes, minus 112 is not good. Number 112 is not good, but they've played the number 63 schedule. Middle Tennessee State is actually number 124, minus 1.23 yards per play. Not only is that 12 spots worse than Missouri State, but they've played a schedule that is 58 spots lower. They've played one of the weakest schedules. That's a big edge for me. When you look at Middle Tennessee State on offense, they're number 121, averaging only 316 yards per game, and they get sacked very often, allowing 18 sacks this season. I look at Middle, and they are coming off a home loss to Marshall, where they outgained as a favorite by 76 yards. They went to Kennesaw State, minus 1 turnover, had a yardage edge, but lost to a pitiful Kennesaw State team, 24-16. Their only win on the season, they went out to Nevada, beat the Wolfpack, but they were outgained by 17 yards. The only reason they won that game by 1 point was because of a Wolfpack turnover. Now, Missouri State. This game likely would have been a 4% play for me, guys. That's how much I do like this. Going to USC and losing by 60 in the season opener, no concern at all for me in your first FBS game that you're transitioning in. Going to Marshall in game number 2, pulling the upset, was impressive. They lost by 18 against SMU at home, but they were only outgained by 120 yards. Not a bad loss. They blow out UT Martin like they should, 42-10. And then last week against Western Kentucky, they lost that game by only 5 points. So statistical profile is better. The situation is better because they've been home for 3 straight games. But again, the only thing keeping this from being a best bet is the quarterback injury. Now, Jacob Clark is a stud. You look at his percentages, 67% this year. He looked like what was a horrible knee injury last week against Western Kentucky. That's part of the reason they lost that game. He had his leg in a brace. He was using crutches. He sat out the second half. They said he was likely going to be out. Then they switched to day-to-day midweek. But the problem is this. If Clark does not go, then it's true freshman Deuce Bailey, who played his first game yesterday and then really struggled in that first game, only 7-16 for 44% completions. With that situation, it's a pass for me, but since I can't load it as a play, I will tell you this. If you tune in to TV tonight and you see Jacob Clark is playing and starting the game, I would jump on Missouri State. If not, it's a pass.
All right. Great breakdown there, Ralph. And we're going to go to a couple teams. Again, I don't know that much about. That's why we bring you in East Carolina versus Tulane. And then after that, we're going to go over some trends and some angles in the NFL. And this week's NFL trend and angles is going to blow your guys' mind because it blew my mind here. All right. We got Tulane minus 6.5 over under 53.5. How do you break this game down?
You know, I am an East Carolina fan this year, and I look at what they've done. You know, beating Army last week was impressive to me. 141 yard per game edge. And actually, it wasn't last week. They are coming off a bye. In fact, they haven't played since 2 Thursdays ago when they beat Army. You look at the Pirates, their losses this year to BYU, they were -2 turnovers, only outgained by 14 yards per game. At NC State, they lost by 7. They were only outgained by 10 yards per game. This is a team I like. The problem is Tulane has won 23 of their last 25 conference games. They have a coach who knows how to win in John Summerall in his second season here. Their only loss, a good loss, at Mississippi, where they lost by 35 points. But I say a good loss because they've beaten those teams they care about. They do have a strong home field. I do like the small stadium they play in now, and we saw it against Duke when they did allow 452 yards to the Blue Devils, but they won that game 34-27, and Duke did have several penalties because of the noise in that situation. Statistically, when I break it down, East Carolina, much better yards per play diff, number 42 versus 88, but Tulane, a much better schedule, 31 versus 85. So when that occurs, you got to take a look at which you feel is stronger based on the strength of schedule. But I like East Carolina in this situation. You have 3 wide receivers that all have between 22 and 28 catches. All 3 of those receivers have between 300 and 352 yards. They're all averaging over 12.5 yards per carry. I make this line 3. This play may still make it to my card tomorrow. I'm a Pirates fan Thursday night with East Carolina and perhaps even an outright upset.
All right, Ralph. Now, we're going to go to the NFL trends. And listen, what's one of the biggest narratives now that we're into week 5 and 6? Well, team coming off a bye. They've got that extra rest, extra week to prepare. Let's talk about buys because this is going to surprise everybody. So watch out if you're using they're off of a bye on your NFL handicapping. Let's pull up this chart and walk us through
how many
what's
times
real
will we
and
hear
what's
that
not real.
When
yes,
you're reading
every week.
reading newsletters this week? Again, this is why it's so important to know the facts, because it makes sense that they're going to benefit off a bye because the NFL, you start getting beat up during the season. But take a look down that left-hand column. If you blindly bet every NFL team off a bye since 2015, you have gone 49%.
Wow.
If they are a home favorite the next week, 45%. A home dog, 49%, and away favorite, 48.5%. So the only situations are if the team is an away dog off a bye. And then I have on the right hand, Andy, and I will post this on my Twitter. This is what they did the week before. So if you want to look at how a team won at home the week before a bye, lost at home a week before a bye, won away before their bye, or lost away before a bye, but take a look at the away dogs. It doesn't matter. Now, these aren't wow numbers, but it's 55%, so it needs to be part of your handicapping. 55%, and it doesn't matter the previous game. If they won at home, lost at home, won away, or lost away, it's basically consistent across the board. If they are off a home loss, that category, I do have a typo in there, my apologies. See, the first category says home win. The next one should be home loss, and I have win-loss in there. I'll correct that when I post the chart to Twitter. But those are strong. Away favorites off a home loss, 64%. Away dogs off a home loss, 63%. So I'm not telling you you cannot play teams off a bye, but just make sure you have a small negative check mark in there so you are handicapping the game properly.
All right. Do we know? Are there any teams in particular off the top of your head that this really affects this week? I'm trying to think.
There were 4 teams off a bye, and let's see if I could pull those up because
Steelers, Bears, Falcons. Help me out, chat. Which one am I missing? Steelers, Bears, Falcons, and there was one other team. Teddy's in the back room just screaming at us. Teddy's just screaming at us.
Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Thank you. I'm looking at Andy, and I had a brain fart. Andy had a brain fart, so thank you for finally jumping in, Teddy. What the hell were you waiting for so long?
Teddy was like, "You idiots! It's Green Bay." Okay, so those are the 4 teams that we're looking at for this week: the Steelers, the Pack. Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Teddy. Ralph, it's Wednesday. What do you have up for clients?
Well, again, it's Weekend Warrior Week, guys, and I'll say this. I had a losing Saturday college football, only my second of the week. I went 1-1 Sunday, lost my big play. I did have a college football 5% loser last Friday. We always want to mention the winners and the losers. But number 2 in college football since the start of 2024, college football run, 27-14, 66%. College football and NFL best bets, those are 4% and 5% plays, 37-16, 70%. I will have an NFL 5%. They are 6-1, 86%. And Andy, my NFL teasers rated 4% or 5%, 16-3, 84%. The Weekend Warrior, $49. Get it now as soon as I load any college football plays for Saturday, NFL plays for Sunday. And if I have a Monday NFL play, you'll get that as well. You get them immediately and get the lines that I bet the games at and want you to bet them at as well.
Ralph Michaels, take advantage of the Weekend Warrior, $49, get you all those plays. Great run on those teasers, Ralph. That's a really strong run. So make sure you grab him the Weekend Warrior for Ralph Michaels over at WagerTalk. Thank you, Ralph. Great stuff, great breakdowns, great trends.
Thanks.
Have a great Wednesday.
Teddy's like one of those guys that at the end of the show, we have to go through the blips and errors that Teddy should be on each show, catching everything and pointing those out to everyone. So let him know that he should be on the show 5 days a week. And just to be able to do that for us, we'd be very appreciative. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Ralph. Let's just bring in Teddy Covers right now, and then we'll do all around the Teddy, that would be amazing if you had to come on every day and correct all the mistakes. It'd be like a 15-minute segment. Like, well, Andy said this. I don't know, Ralph, you said this.
Well, they used to have the guy on Kornheiser and Wilbon used to do that back in the day.
That's right. They did.
Yeah. But then you'd have to listen to the show. And I love being on the show, but when I'm not on, I'm not, it's a busy time. Once you get in October, October, November, December, as a sports bettor, this is the busiest time of the year. So all the periphery stuff just kind of floats away, and then it's sports and sports betting pretty much 24/7, at least in my world, this time of year.
Yeah, my world too. We're starting to look at NBA futures, over-unders, props. Don't forget, that is right around the corner. So
I know. I haven't forgotten.
Me either. I can't wait to start talking NBA. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Blue Jays, Yankees, Phillies, Dodgers, and then I'm going to give you an NFL line that I think makes no sense. But let's start with this Blue Jays, Yankees. Yankees with the big comeback last night, and they are minus 145 favorite. I saw our friend Ariel Epstein had to do 3 shots of tequila right in a row if the Yankees completed the comeback. And she did it. Shout out to her. She posted on social media 3 straight shots of tequila. Well, what are we looking at for this game today here? We got Schlittler for New York, Marlin for Toronto as the listed starters. How do you break this game down?
Yeah, maybe the Blue Jays should have closed this one out when they had the chance. He gave the Yankees life, and that's not always a good thing. The Yankees have done this before. They've overcome a 2-0 deficit in the best of 5 division series back in 2001. They made the World Series that year in 2017 as well. So the franchise has that history. And when you're trailing 6-1 early, and then you score 8 unanswered runs, that's their largest comeback ever in an elimination game, tied for the second biggest comeback in any postseason game. And Toronto hadn't lost all season after leading by 4 runs or more. So all of a sudden, it's uncharted territory for the Blue Jays. And the quotes coming out of the Yankees locker room are exactly what you want. About celebration, Aaron Boone, quote, "We need another one tomorrow. We'll enjoy this for about 10 minutes and get ready for that." Aaron Judge, quote, "Tonight was special." And for Judge, it really was a special game, with the home run, that somehow or other stayed fair with a diving catch in right field. With the, it was a big game for Aaron Judge, who went now 7 for 11 in the series, 4 RBIs yesterday. Quote, tonight was special, but there's still more work to be done. Hopefully we have some more cool moments like this the rest of the postseason. We had another big game tomorrow night. So certainly we've seen the Yankees bats. We've seen all the bats in this series come alive. The series 3-0 to the over so far. The second round of the postseason, 7-3 to the over in 10 games. After the first round in the wild card matches, we didn't get any runs. It was one under after the next. It's been the opposite of that over the last 4 days. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see more runs scored tonight. You talked about, and I really always struggle saying his name. You're like, am I going to say it right or not? Schlittler, who is coming off. I backed him last time against Boston. I thought the Yankees were going to win that game and win the series. I did not expect what I got from Schlittler, though. He was unbelievable in that ball game. 12 strikeouts, no walks, 8 innings of shutout ball. But he also threw a season high in pitches in that contest, which is definitely a concern for me here. Toronto hit him hard. He lasted 1 2/3 in a home game against the Blue Jays, and this was in September. 4 runs, 5 hits, 7-1 loss. They fouled off the Blue Jays 24 of Schlittler's 66 pitches in that ball game. Quote, it was impressive how many foul balls there were, but I think I'm a different pitcher now than I was when I faced him a month ago, and now even from 2 weeks ago. Well, that's a lot of confidence off the one start. The Blue Jays have been hitting, They hit 392, scored 23 runs in the first 2 games of Toronto. They scored here yesterday. I know they had 2 hits in the final 5 innings, but this is a lineup that is clicking right now. The wind blowing from left to right out towards right field. That makes that short porch in right very tempting. Schlittler, I'm not expecting a start as good as his last start. On the other side of the equation, we got Varland, who got hit yesterday by the Yankees. Lauer coming in as the backup. As the bulk inning starter. I'm expecting runs. It's been high scoring in the series. It's been high scoring first 5. It's been high scoring full game. First 5 over 4.5. Full game over 8.5. That's the way I would look for this one. I think the first 5 might be the stronger of the 2. But no argument with anyone who's expecting runs in the Bronx in evening action on Wednesday.
Real quick, Justin. I know Justin. Awesome guy. Where's New York? -145. Yeah, that line is no longer available. That was the opening line. That's when we made the graphic. Tons of money have come in on the Yankees. So yes, you are correct. When we made the graphic, that's what it was. But now, I'm seeing -165s, -175. So yes, Justin, -145 open. It's not there anymore, but we like the over, so we're not even going to mess with the money line on that one.
And just let me jump in real quick because I don't even know where it opened -145. I didn't see that number.
Okay.
It may have been out there somewhere, but right now, look at the Odds Logic live odds screen. It's -165, anywhere up to -180, depending on where you shop. Total pretty much across the board, sitting at 8.5 right now. That Odds Logic live odds screen. Get your free trial, guys. It's free, 7-day free all access for a live odds service. If you've never used one, it's cool. Do it today. Again, oddslogic.com/Teddy gets the free 7-day all access. Check it out.
That's 7.5 total. I talked with Brian Power yesterday about that 7.5 total in Yanks and Blue Jays. Like, what are we doing here? Why did never mind. Phillies, Dodgers here. We got Nola going for Philly, Yamamoto going for the Dodgers. We got the Dodgers as a big favorite here. How do you break this game down?
So, again, looking at the Odds Logic live odds screen right now, I'm seeing the Dodgers in the -175 range. Total 7.5, juice to the over. And, in a second round, we've seen a bunch of overs. We didn't get there with these 2 teams last time. A 4-3 final. The Dodgers bullpen tried to blow it in the 9th inning. But didn't quite get there. They'll probably try again tonight. Rob Thompson, the Phillies manager, quote, I love the fight in the 8th and 9th inning. They fought like hell, and hopefully that carries over into Wednesday. This is a resilient group. Our backs are against the wall. We've just got to come out fighting. And I think Philadelphia will be able to do that. Look, teams that are up 2-0 in a best-of-5 postseason series are 80-10. So 10 times teams have come back. There have been 54 sweeps out of those 90 tries. So we've seen, a 5.5 to 1 ratio of sweeps versus comebacks. That being said, Philadelphia certainly, going into the series, at least in my mind, the winner of this series is the team to back to win it all, and that hasn't changed through the first 2 games. And if Philadelphia does come back against LA, I think they will be the team to beat moving forward. So we got Nola going for Philadelphia. I don't trust Nola. You don't trust Nola. He's pitched better of late. He does not have a great track record against the Dodgers. He's not got a great track record down the stretch, but they have Ranger Suarez to back him up. So if Nola gets into trouble, I would expect to see Suarez fairly early for Philadelphia. And of course, if Nola pitches a gem, which, he's a veteran, he's more than capable of doing. He's done it in the postseason many times before. Even if it looks like Max Muncy's going to get his first start of the series, we could see Will Smith in this ballgame as well for LA. Not sure about that yet. But even against the Dodgers, if Nola's dealing, he'll be dealing. That being said, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, ice cold. 1 of 14 with 8 strikeouts so far in this series. Harper's quote, "It's kind of weird and crazy to see there's only been 1 homer hit in the first 2 games. Pitching's been good on both sides. I think there's maybe 2 guys that have kind of played well on both sides." So Philadelphia knows they have a better game in them. They certainly, we talk about Yamamoto, who's been ace level, all year long. That being said, ace level all year long, and then ace level against Philadelphia in the postseason with the pressure and the bullpen issues behind him. That to me is something of a concern for LA in the pitching tonight. I like the Phillies team total over in this ballgame. 3.5 is the number, the prevailing number, and you get that even at a plus price, plus 105. I'm seeing available right now on Philadelphia team total over. I understand that they haven't hit as well as expected so far in this series, but I think the change of location, the day off, can only help a very potent lineup against a pitching staff that has seen a few cracks. So we like over in both games, full game for Yankees, Blue Jays, for the Dodgers and Phillies. We like Phillies team total over 3.5.
I love it. I was so jealous that Tokyo Brandon came up with taking the Reds team total over against the Dodgers in those games. I was so jealous that he came up with that one, and now you're doing the same thing. Phillies Dodgers makes all the sense in the world. And yes, it's generous saying they have a few cracks in their pitching staff, Teddy.
It's worth noting that we've seen Dave Roberts avoid the bullpen entirely and just go back to his because they have so many starters. Could we see Glasnow again in this ballgame late? I don't think we'll see Sasaki tonight. They've been really doing their best to keep Sasaki from pitching in back-to-back games. He's a guy that they've got a lot of money tied into and a lot of hopes for the future tied into. So there's definitely a possibility in this game for late game shenanigans with the Dodgers likely going without their erstwhile closer.
Shout out to Rob. He says, "Sorry, I'm late. Could we start the show over?" I love Rob. I love Rob. Go back and watch from the very beginning, Rob. Oh, that's great. That's great. Teddy, I'm going to do this line makes no sense, but before we do that, tell everyone what you have up for clients at WagerTalk.
So right now, I just have a single best bet available in MLB for today, early start game. So if you want some afternoon action, the MLB has been really good. 15-4, dating back to last year, 79%, plus 30.4 units. This season in MLB playoffs, I'm 5-1, 83%, making money. And sometimes the games are jumping at me, and that's real nice to see in October. You don't always expect it. So the baseball's been good. Get it right now, $9 on my page, www.buzz/TC. I'm writing a 25-13 all sports run, 65% over the last 2.5 weeks. And I'm writing a 15-8 football heater. That's NFL and college combined. College 10-3, 77% over the last, I think it's 3 Saturdays. So making money in football, making money in baseball. I cannot complain too much, but Andy, we'll find a way.
I had my very first ever prop bet that was voided because of an injury on Monday night. We had Brenton Strange, the tight end. He catches one pass in the first quarter, gets hurt. and they void the bet. That's the first time it's ever happened to me. This is the DraftKings and ESPN Bet and BetMGM where they decide to randomly void player prop bets if there's an injury in the first half of the first quarter. What a world and what an age we live in, Teddy. Sportsbooks randomly voiding bets because of injuries.
Note that that's happening in a scenario where they don't have a lot of liability.
Yes, absolutely.
It's going to be a scenario where they get a nice PR move and it doesn't cost them a lot of money, and that's what they'll do. This was that.
Yeah. Yes, Brenton Strange props. Sure, they didn't have a whole lot on that one. So, all right, we're going to do This Line Makes No Sense. Then I got a lifestyle question here for you, Teddy. All right, this line makes no sense. Rams, -7.5 against the Ravens. My opinion, the Ravens are absolutely punting on these games before the bye week. Lamar Jackson's not playing. 7 defenders are out. So what are they going to do? They're going to rest their guys this week. Then they have the bye. They come out of the bye 1-5. They think their season's over. Not so fast, my friend. They have Bears, Dolphins, Vikings, Browns, Jets, Bengals, Steelers, Bengals, Patriots after their bye week. That's where they make their run. Rams get extra rest from the Thursday game. They're coming off an embarrassing loss to a rival. And the Ravens have allowed 6.1 yards per play and a league worst 39.7 points per game the last 3 games. Teddy, they don't have a defense. The Ravens have lost their last 2 games by 17 and 34. This line makes no sense. The Rams should be 10.5-point favorites. I think the Rams blow out the Ravens in a game I think they're throwing away. You agree or disagree?
So, I'm supposed to disagree with you, right? I can make an argument.
You can do whatever. I'm just saying this line makes no sense. I will be using Rams in Survivor. Rams, everything. I use Texans in Survivor. Rams crush the Ravens.
So there are a couple of key factors to consider before you load up all your bankroll on the Rams in this ballgame. All right. You had Ralph Michaels on talking about the teams coming out of the bye, and the teams coming out of the bye, there's nothing there. All right. Everyone goes, oh, they're coming off a bye. They're coming off a bye. And obviously, coming off a bye from a point spread perspective is actually a slight negative. Going into the bye, that's where the positives are. And if you follow Ralph on Twitter, if you don't, you got to follow Ralph on Twitter at CalSportsLV. On Twitter, he's just a great follow, and he tweets out all these charts, even stuff you don't see on the shows. But if you know that he put out a chart with the teams before the bye, and the teams before, in all the different categories, teams before the bye, positive expectations, 60%, 60+%. That's your spot. It's not after the bye. It's before the bye. Factor number 2. All right. So you want teams like Baltimore going into the bye week, plus, as a dog in general. Factor number 2. How confident are you in your Baltimore Ravens power rating right now? This team is still favored to win the AFC North. Okay. They're still the favorites in the division. Okay. How confident are you that your power rating on Baltimore is spot on? Because I'm not. My number for the game came 5.5, and I'm like, I guess I'm not downgrading the Ravens.
Wow.
I guess I'm not. The markets have downgraded them 10, 12, 14 points since the start of the season, and I've only downgraded them 8 or 10 points since from where they were. I think maybe 9.5 points from where they were. But I'm not confident in my number. You're not confident in your number. Anyone that says, "Oh, I know, I got the Ravens pegged. I know exactly what no, you don't. So, and then factor number 3, if we're going to keep making cases for the dog here, how good are the Rams exactly? Not like they're killing teams. Not like the Rams are blowing everybody out of the water every week. That's not how they play. That's not how this season's gone for them. It's not. You got a West Coast team traveling east for an early start game. They win this game by a touchdown. They're just plenty happy. So there's cases made for Baltimore here. Maybe some good ones. Line's not high, or not line's too high.
Oh man,
I can make sense for you.
Oh, I watched what the Texans did to this Baltimore team, and I don't think Houston's that good. They just laid a whooping on Baltimore. So, all right, we shall see. We shall see. I did pretty decent on this segment last week with my Broncos pick. So, all right. So we were talking before the show. Do not do this, guys. We do not recommend this. Teddy, have you ever gone all in on a bet? I talked about this. Okay.
One time.
I did it last night. We got time. We got a lot of time. Tell the story about your all-in bet. I think I've heard you tell this story before. I don't remember what happened.
So it was the year I cashed in the Hilton Con. It was a top 10 finisher in the Super Contest in, I think it was 1999. And 2000 comes, and I freaking can't pick a winner. You know how it is. Oh, last year was great. This year isn't, And I had back-to-back terrible weeks. I wasn't an established capper then. I was just starting out. I didn't have a bankroll that could withstand a whole lot. And I got clobbered back-to-back weeks. There was a Monday night game with, it's got to be Cordell Stewart against Chris Chandler. It was the Steelers and the Falcons. Right? Yeah.
Wow.
And this is Atlanta coming off a Super Bowl appearance the previous year. And they had an awful start to the season. Pittsburgh was laying the 4.5, 5.5, 6.5. And I took every dollar I had at the time. And I played Atlanta plus the points. I had Atlanta on the money line. And I played more Atlanta plus the points because I found a +7. And that was my all-in moment. And the Falcons trailed by margin the whole game. In the fourth quarter, they rallied back and actually had first and goal from the 3 to win the game. They didn't win the game straight up. They weren't able to convert, but they covered the number. So I won the majority of my bets, and that kept me alive, and then the rest is history. But yeah, that was early on in my career where if I lose that game, I don't know what happened. You probably never heard of it.
Do you remember what you felt like leading up to the game? Like
I remember what I felt like when they were down 14-0 in the first, and early. And I was pretty, but that feeling when it's bad, but it's just so bad you can't really process it. You know what I'm talking about? I'm sure you guys out there know what I'm talking about. It was that, it was like, all right, let's, yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah. That was me last night. There was a fight on Contender Series. I don't know if you heard me tell. There was a fighter. I've never done tape study on a fighter this bad in my entire career. I've never seen a fighter this awful, and we went all in on everything. Fight doesn't go the distance. Under 1.5. Fight ends in round 1. That's Luke Fernandez by knockout. Every possible play you could possibly think of. I had my entire bankroll, and then I added more money on top of the bankroll. I told people, I was like, I literally had like 500% of my bankroll on there, and it was incredibly terrifying. It was nerve-wracking, and then the fight lasted 1 punch. Our guy hit the guy one time, and the fight was over. It lasted 12 seconds, but it could have been 8 because the ref was late to stop it. But I do not recommend that. It was great for one night. I don't ever want to do that ever again.
So I remember making a really as big a bet as I've ever made. I bet against Mark Mulder. I think it might have been his last career start. He was starting for the Cardinals. They were playing the Rays. The Rays were red hot, and the Cardinals were favored. And I'm like, this is the dumbest line I've ever seen. And I, back that's when he used to do games of the year. So this is my game of the year, and I loaded up, and that was, it was like 8-1 Tampa in the second inning. It was that kind of a scenario. It was easy. You like it when the handicap is right. Mulder was, he was done. I think it was Mulder, but yeah, those are nice when they come, when you handicap it right and it comes through. There was another early one that I had when it was Steve Spurrier with the Washington Redskins at the time. He was going to Tokyo for a preseason opener against Mariucci and the 49ers. It's a preseason game. And Spurrier's like, we're going to win. And Mariucci's like, yeah, we got a tour of Osaka. And San Fran was laying 3 at the open. All right.
That's
put out a 3.
amazing.
And I'm like, this is the dumbest line I've ever seen. It closed Washington plus -3. And they won the game. I think it was 38-7. It was over well before halftime. And that was another one that was like, I loaded up and it felt great and it worked right. And, so it's nice when they come through like that, Andy. Nice call, good handicap, easy cash, well done. Those are the best.
They are. It was a great feeling. And Rob asked, how many times did you throw up watching your all-in bet? I didn't over under 2.5. I cashed the under on throwing up, but it's a nerve-wracking feeling, and I do not recommend it for people.
Tessie bets just like 13-9 or something like that. Yeah, it was an ugly game.
Tessie went and pulled out the game on YouTube.
Yeah. That 9 mattered. Yeah, because it was like 6.5. Which was a closing number around town, and 7. I found a 7 or something. But yeah, yes. That was what a fun day.
What amazing day. Teddy covers. Teddy covers. Thank you.
Those are all. Last thing I'm going to say. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, Andy. But the key is those are all at least most early career stuff. When your bankroll's not where it needs to be, and you haven't learned some of the lessons that you learned later on. But that being said, when your bankroll is what it's supposed to be, you can step up and have a big size wager. You're just not betting all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Teddy covers. Love the story. Thank you very much. Can't wait to see you on Friday for Football Friday. Cheers. Teddy covers, everyone. So, it was a wild night. We cashed our $5 Tuesday play. We said we were going to, and now we move on to our 5% play in UFC on Saturday. It's not an all-in play. This is a very confident play that we've already bet. We hit our 5% play on Saturday. We hit our $5 Tuesday play in Contender Series last night. We're going to hit our 5% play in UFC. If you haven't gotten that, go grab that play. Absolutely love it. The line is moving a little bit, but it's still available and still a 5% worthy play. So that is over at wt.buzz/AL. That's our big play for the weekend. Justin, what would you have done if you've lost? You just start over. That was the mindset. I talked to Jim. You guys know Jim, one of my betting partners. He's on my team, and we were just like, if it loses, we start over from scratch. That's it. So that was the mindset. But again, I don't ever want to be in that position ever again. But boy, if they put a fighter like that up, we may be in there. All right, big dog, let's pull up all around the world. Let's get some free plays. And yes, the ring girl yesterday, if you watched yesterday, the ring girl yesterday was the ring girl for the guy that lost. So, all right, here we go. Warren Fogle over 1.5 shots on goal in the Kings and the Golden Knights. He didn't have any shots on goal last night, but he had 2 shots that just missed. He's hit this in 69% of his games last year, and he's gone over this in the last 4 games that he's played against the Golden Knights. So we'll take Warren Fogle over 1.5 shots on goal. I'm seeing a lot of people on UTEP on the money line. Liberty are 1-4 ATS, and straight up, Liberty lost all their games against FBS teams by double digits, and they've only scored 57 points total. UTEP, pretty good defense, especially on 3rd and 4th down. Liberty defense is bad, allowing 5.5 yards per carry. I believe I read Brian Power say that no team has been lowered in his power rankings more than Liberty, so Liberty's a fade at this point. And then Cubs and Brewers, Tokyo Brandon's got a team total. He's been fantastic on these team totals. Cubs over 1.5 in the first 5. The Cubs hitters have had success against Priester. He's given up over 1.5 runs in his last 4 starts. Cubs have put up 10 earned runs against him in the season in 3 starts. So those are your free plays for tonight. We had a really nice, I'm so excited. Hockey's back. This Warren Fogle is going to be a client play. We hit Carter Verhaeghe to have a point yesterday. I think I hit over 61% of NHL props. So we're going to start talking a lot about NHL props on this show. If you're not betting NHL props, you're doing yourself a disservice. You can hit an incredibly high percentage on NHL props. These lines are soft and the books do not adjust. So we'll start talking a lot about NHL props. That's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for joining us. Hit the like button, leave us a comment. Tell us if you had an all-in moment that you're not that proud of in the comment section below. And I wanted to shout out somebody in the chat who, hey, Chris, can we pull up that comment? We have a bet with Jesse Schul. Do you have that? Or do you want? No, we'll save it for tomorrow. Okay. Somebody posted a fantastic comment that me and Jesse can have a bet on the game, on the Georgia Tech game this weekend. We'll show that tomorrow, but Jesse has agreed to it where each of us has a punishment if the other one loses. So we'll pull that up tomorrow. So fantastic in the comment section. And somebody sent me a very, very nice message asking about the Deion Sanders poster that I had in the background. It's right over there. You can kind of see the corner of it, but I just wanted to say thank you. That was such a cool moment and a really, really nice conversation that I had with that gentleman. So I appreciate that. And that is in the comment section. So leave us a comment below. Thanks very much for joining us. We're going to do it again tomorrow. And don't forget, Football Fridays, guys. Friday, our biggest show of the week. We break down NFL, NCAA, Marco's Wing Sauce. Teddy and I do Sell Meat. We talk Survivor. We talk about the Super Contest. It's a huge, huge Friday, so make sure you're watching on Fridays. It's the best football show of the week by far, outside of Opening Line Report, which Teddy does on Monday. All right, thanks for joining us. Good luck in all your plays. We'll see everyone tomorrow. Take care.
Welcome, everybody, to the NFL presidential address for week 6. My goal is to make you money. All you have to do is listen to this video. How does it work? We go through every single NFL game on the board. We start with the Thursday night game, Philadelphia playing the New York Giants. We end on the Monday night, the late game, Chicago in Washington. I'm going to try to find bets in every single game, but I will pass along the way. We do not make stuff up. Don't push it. There's enough betting opportunity out there. If I can't find anything, I will say pass. Okay, let's start with the Thursday night game. Philadelphia -7.5. They're playing the New York Jets. The total in this game is 40.5. And right now we have about 85% of the money coming in on the over and 77% of the money coming in on the Philadelphia Eagles. Guys, I'm struggling in this game. I don't want to take a -7.5 road favorite in a division game. It's simply too many points. And Philadelphia has really struggled to create distance so far this year and did the same last year. It wasn't until week 7 before Philadelphia started to smack the crap out of teams. They're playing a New York Giants team that absolutely struggled last week against New Orleans, but they turned the ball over 1,000,000 times. I don't want to bet this game. I'm not going to bet this game, but if I had to bet this game, I would hold my nose and take the New York Giants +7.5. It's simply too many points, and I understand the Eagles are coming off of a loss. That's what's keeping me from betting this game. If the Eagles had won last week, we would be taking the New York Giants in this spot. But with the Eagles coming off a loss, with the Giants sucking, with the line being the way it is, this game is a pass. I got nothing for you on the total either. Before we turn our attention to the Sunday card, I got some business to take care of. Just to let you know, the year is going great in NFL for me and my clients. 62% for my client bets. And yes, those are the bets that mean the most to me. I come on this show, I give out bets. I believe in these bets. I'm doing my analysis. I'm doing my work, but I am not betting every single play that I give out on the NFL presidential address. I'm not betting every single play I give out on the best betting show ever. I'm betting the plays that I sell to my clients. That's what I'm betting, and I am 62% this season. I'm up over 20 units, and I am 6-1 in NFL ATS bets. So, guys, I got a promo to give you. It's a full all-access month to all my plays. It's $199. The promo is Prez199. You get my college football, my NFL, and most importantly, you get my NHL. I am a top 10 NHL bettor ever. And I had a massive season last year. So use the promo code Prez199 over at WagerTalk.com. Join me for a month of betting and let's all win together. Okay, no more promos. Hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and make sure to comment. Let's get going. Denver Broncos playing the New York Jets. I'm going to make this real simple. I like the over team total for both. 16.5 of the New York Jets. Yes, they've only done more than that a couple of times this year. But I think asking a team to get us 17 points in a game that I think might be a bit of a blowout and in a game where the opposition is going to score a lot is not that big an ask. I think we can get 2 touchdowns and a field goal out of this New York Jets team. However, the bet I like the most is Denver over 27.5 points. That is a bet that I am making. Denver Broncos over 27.5. Now, the bottom line here is they're playing the Jets. The Jets defense has allowed 27 or more points in every single game they've played this season. The only game that they went under 27.5 points was when the Miami Dolphins scored 27 on them. The Denver offense is potent. They have a running game. They are well balanced, and they stretch the field. Bo Nix goes for 4 to 5 30, 40-yard long bombs a game, and the New York Jets secondary is horrible. The bottom line here is I love the Denver Broncos over 27.5 points, and I like, not love, the New York Jets over 16.5. Now we turn our attention to Cleveland playing Pittsburgh. And, well, Cleveland just got rid of Joe Flacco. Nobody cares. and we'll be launching the Dylan Gabriel era week 2. They're playing a Pittsburgh team who's coming off of a bye, but I'm going to break this down simple. Way too many points for this Pittsburgh team. This Cleveland team is playing teams tough. They played Minnesota tough. They were winning that game right up until the end. I think Minnesota is better than Pittsburgh even after Pittsburgh has had an extra week of rest. There is way too many points in this game. This game has like 17-14, 17-13 written all over it. I like the dog and I love the under. 38 points. That's a lot of points when both these teams are going to be rolling out stout defenses. Now, I know Pittsburgh's defense struggled to start the season, but this is the Pittsburgh defense. They're going to be just fine, and they're playing a rookie quarterback. Watt is going to have a field day, and the secondary will be just fine. As for the Browns D, one of the best units in football. They're going to make Pittsburgh struggle. My favorite bet is the under, but I do like the dog. Arizona playing Indianapolis. I would love Indianapolis here if Arizona won the game last week. But with Arizona and the way they lost that game was so horrible, this game just says stay away to me. Arizona's season is on the line. The coaching staff's careers are on the line. Kyler Murray's career is on the line. And this team could have won every single game this year. They can't seem to get out of their own way. Now, I know the Indianapolis Colts look great, and I am now a fan. But 6.5 points is a lot. I can't get there on the side. And with the total, my issue here is I think Indy's going to get us points. I don't know if Arizona is. I think if you go with Indy and the over, you're likely going to go 1-1 with a decent chance at 2-0 and an unlikely chance at 0-2. I'm going to pass on this game, but if I had to attack it and I was forced to bet it, I would bet the favorite and the over at the same dollar amount. LA Rams going into Baltimore. Wow. This Baltimore team, have they quit? I think we're going to find out this week. I'm going to stay away from this game as well. My apologies. But man, I can't make this stuff up. If there are no bets, there are no bets. I need to see what this Baltimore team does. Horrible loss against Kansas City. Even worse loss against Houston. This is it. Does this team have pride? Are these guys a bunch of professionals? Are they going to show up? We're going to find that out. 7.5. I cannot lay that with the Rams in Baltimore, with Baltimore being in the situation they're in. I think we're just going to have to wait and see. Seattle, Jacksonville. I like the over in this game, guys, and I like Jacksonville. Statement win by Jacksonville against Kansas City. Now, I understand a lot of people are sitting there saying, well, really? Kansas City put up 500 yards on them. Jacksonville was lucky to win the game. Well, Kansas City threw an interception down low late. Well, Trevor Lawrence fumbled the ball going into the end zone. Well, Kansas City got a touchdown that shouldn't have been a touchdown because there was an illegal pick. Well, Kansas City got another touchdown that shouldn't have been a touchdown because of another illegal pick. So, I don't know. I think Jacksonville played better than Kansas City, and I think the refs tried their damnedest to get Kansas City to win and failed to do so. I think Jacksonville has to feel good about themselves, and they're playing a Seattle team that really is struggling to get out of their own way. It's like one quarter, this team's world beater. The next quarter, they stink. They are lacking consistency. I'd rather take the home team here at basically a pick 'em. But I like the over the best. Seattle can put up points. We saw it against Tampa Bay. And Jacksonville is throwing the ball. And Trevor Lawrence looks great. Etienne is running the ball. They found a really nicely balanced offense. This number is too low. Take the favorite, Jacksonville, and take the over. Dallas going into Carolina. Impressive win by Carolina last week, and especially given that they were down so early in the game. They showed a lot of moxie here, but also an impressive win by Dallas last week on the road as well. I don't know where to go here, guys. This one is a tough one. I'm just going to give you my leans, but I will not be betting this game. I lean on Carolina. This is a team that has looked good at home. They have not looked good on the road. And Dallas, I don't think is very good. I think they're mediocre at best. And I don't want to take them as a road favorite, -3.5 with a hook. I could see this game coming down to 3. I also do lean on the over, but again, I'm not betting this game. The Chargers going into Miami. Oh, Miami. Oh, just when we thought that maybe you had turned the corner, you go and lay a freaking egg. Now you're hosting the Chargers, who are coming off a heartbreaking loss from last week. I got to look at the Chargers here, guys, at -4. Now, I know we've talked about the fact that I don't want to be taking these road favorites. This is not a division game. And the Miami Dolphins are a shell. The Miami Dolphins are struggling mightily on defense, and they are lacking all semblance of rhythm on offense. This Chargers team is really, really good. If I have to sit there and think a score, the total of this game is 43. Can I see this game be 27-13, the Chargers? Maybe 27-20. So I'm thinking around 27-20 LA Chargers. That covers the 4. Take the road favorite. San Francisco playing Tampa Bay. Tons of money have come in on Tampa Bay. It was -1.5, -2, -2.5. It's now -3. And I agree. I love Tampa Bay in the spot. Full disclosure, I got a bet I'm carrying with San Francisco to win the division at +150. I love the San Francisco team. Their win last week against the Rams was outstanding. They're coming off of a long week, a lot of rest. They're playing a Tampa Bay team who were lucky to get out of Seattle with a dub. With all that said, this is as about a bad a spot as you could have with the San Francisco 49ers. There is going to be a moment where the injuries on this team catches up to them, and I think this is the week it happens. They are coming off of a must-win rivalry game that will settle the division. The most important game they've played all year was last week, and they won it. They're going to take a sigh. They're going to breathe. They're going to come back down to earth, and they're playing a Tampa Bay team that nobody is going to stop offensively. We know Tampa Bay is going to score. I simply don't think the 49ers will be able to keep up without their weapons. -3 for the home team. One of my better bets of the week. Take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Guys, before we continue, I just want to remind you, hit that like button. Comment, please. I read all the comments. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. And if you like what you're hearing, you can see me every single day, Monday to Friday, with Joe Ranieri and Art DeCesar on WagerTalk TV, which is the best sports betting network in the world. And my show is called The Best Betting Show Ever. Check it out. It is a daily show. Also, make sure to buy a month all access. Press 199. I told you I wouldn't promote again. I slipped it in real quick. We move right on. Tennessee playing Las Vegas. -4.5 for Las Vegas. 41.5. This is a tale of two teams that are being, overreaction. Overreaction on two teams. Tennessee stunk against Arizona. Like the Arizona got a touchdown that didn't count because the guy dropped it at the goal line. Then Arizona intercepts the ball and decides to drop it again and kick it into the end zone for Tennessee score. Up until about the 3 minutes left in the game, Tennessee didn't even know where they were playing. This Tennessee team is god-awful, and they got their win. They are done. It's over for Tennessee. As for the Raiders, this team, albeit mediocre at best, is way better than they showed against Indianapolis last week. And the game got away from them, guys. If you watch that game, they were moving the ball up and down the field. Seattle missed a touchdown opportunity. It was a missed field goal. The Las Vegas Raiders. The game last week for the Raiders was an anomaly. The Raiders are not as bad as they looked. The game last week with Tennessee was an anomaly. They are nowhere near as good as they looked. What does that do? That gives us a wonderful betting opportunity right now. One of my circa bets will be Las Vegas. I will be betting Las Vegas. Take Las Vegas minus the 4.5. New England playing New Orleans. Well, hats off to Drake May and the New England Patriots. An absolute outstanding effort. A killer victory by them against Buffalo. And hats off to the New Orleans Saints as well. A really great victory for them against the New York Giants. With that said, I don't know if I can get to the window on this game. I feel similar about the New Orleans Saints as I do about Tennessee, in the sense that I do think they're one of the worst teams in the league that finally got their win and now is going to relax. I think New England is better than everybody expected, but this is a horrible spot for the New England Patriots, especially coming off of a primetime win against their division rival. 3.5 is too many points for this road team. I can't bet New Orleans. I refuse. I would have to look at the over here, guys. If this was the only game on your TV and you had to make a bet, I would take over the total. Cincinnati playing in Green Bay. Is Joe Flacco going to be the quarterback with Cincinnati? I don't know. Probably. I mean, he can't be any worse than Browning. Browning's an absolute nightmare. Speaking about kicking yourself, man, that guy had the opportunity. You wait 5, 6, 7 years as a backup quarterback. You get a great team with killer weapons. You got Higgins. You got Chase. You're in a division that you can win, and then you go and stink. He has 8 turnovers in 2.5 games. So why are we even talking about him? He's not even going to play. Who cares? Move on. So weekend at Birdie, Joe Flacco, dead man walking, starting with Cincinnati Bengals, which is why they are plus 14.5. I can't bet that. What are we supposed to do? Take Green Bay 30-3 win. They cover 14.5. You go ahead and do that. I can't find a damn bet in this game, guys. 44.5. I don't know if Cincinnati's going to score. Maybe they'll score a ton. I don't know. Green Bay's defense looked really good until they looked really, really bad. Cincinnati's defense looked really, really bad until last week where they looked really, really good. I got nothing for you on this game. Let's move on. Detroit, Kansas City. Oh, mother, is this a sexy game. Full disclosure, I love the Detroit Lions. Full disclosure, I love them this week. Come on, man. Plus 2.5? What am I missing here? Who's coming back for Kansas City? They go into Jacksonville. They got 2 gifted touchdowns. Literally, the interception that became a touchdown was a gift, and the illegal pick to Kelsey was a gift. Sure, they moved the ball up and down the field. They needed to stop Jacksonville. It was 2 minutes. Jacksonville had to drive down the field to score a touchdown to win the game. This vaunted Kansas City defense couldn't stop them. Jacksonville marched down the field. Fabio with the Hallmark cards running down the field. No issues. Kansas City parting the sea. If the Jags can score on you late in a must-win game when you're 2-3 on the season and Denver and the Chargers are ahead of you, when the game is yours to win and you can't hold on, what are the Detroit Lions going to do to you? The Detroit Lions are going to walk the ball up and down the field on you. And if the Detroit Lions lose 31-30, we still cover 2.5. Take the Detroit Lions here, guys, and take them on the money line. This Kansas City team is nowhere near the same team as they were last year, the year before. It's caught up to them, and it's okay. We're allowed off seasons. The Tom Brady-led Pats did not win the Super Bowl every single year. Take Detroit. Monday Night Football, Buffalo and Atlanta. This is a really bad spot for Buffalo. Man, if they had beaten New England, I would be all over Atlanta right now, but there is no chance in hell I'm stepping in front of this Buffalo Bills team. This Buffalo Bills team is one of the best teams in the league. I think they will be in the Super Bowl playing the Detroit Lions, and I think they likely get it done against Atlanta, but I can't take them at -4. Atlanta is coming off of a bye. They've had a big rest. They got, Buffalo played at night on Sunday. This is a terrible, terrible spot for the Bills. I do lean on the over slightly, but I'm likely going to pass on this football game. Chicago going into Washington. I like Washington here, guys. Jaden Daniels last week came out. He moved Washington up and down the field. They looked good. I understand they didn't play well at the beginning, but they got it done against a really strong Chargers team and one that has an outstanding defense. I think Washington's going to be able to put up any number they want on the Chicago Bears team. I think they're going to get us to 30. I'm worried about taking the over because the Chicago team is just too inconsistent offensively. I think the play here is Washington, and I think they win this game by somewhere between 7 and 13 points. So take the Washington Commanders over Chicago. That's it, guys. Every single game on the board. I covered it all. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have bet every one of my plays this year from start to finish blindly in these videos, you would be up money. But most importantly, bet my client plays, guys. Use the promo code PRES199. Grab a month all access to all my plays and make sure to join me for the next 30 days. Thanks for watching this video. It means the world to me. Thanks for commenting and being part of the WagerTalk family. Other than that, we will see you for week 7. I hope the ball bounces in the way we need it. No turnovers against us. No missed field goals against us. No missed extra point against us. And no ridiculous bad ref decisions against us. Let's have a winning week. See you next week, everyone.
Crack.
I don't know if we're live or not.
We are live. Listen, I don't even know how to start this off. So I'm at a wedding rehearsal dinner, and all the groomsmen have their phones, and I'm trying to be the good one. Like, I'm just kind of score watching, not being on my phone. And it's 14-0 Niners. And I'm like, I'm not worried yet. Not worried yet. And then I started to get worried later on. And then I went back to the room while everybody else went out, and I watched that fourth quarter. And I thought, I picked the Rams because I wanted to cheer for chaos this weekend. And I was really kicking myself. I said, I went 1 Rams, 1 Colts, 1 Cardinals. And I thought, all right, this is the way to mix it up. And then I hadn't submitted because it was Thursday night. And my partner said, hey, I think we got to go Cardinals. We got to go Cardinals. Panic. I was like, all right, fine. So went double Cardinals. I had the Colts in a couple of my other Splash Survivor pools and a couple of my buddy Survivor pools. So it's not all is lost, but I am out in all the big money pools.
Yeah.
And Brett texted me yesterday after the Cardinals loss, and he goes, "Are you good?" And I was like, "What? I can't do anything but laugh." Right? The Rams, I would play that spot again with all the injuries and all the issues. Yes, it was a divisional primetime game. But would you not play the Cardinals again? I know you had the Cardinals in Grandissimo. There was a 97.5% chance on the ESPN app that they were going to win that football game.
Yeah, they were getting ready to go up 28-6 when this moron just decides to just nonchalant himself. 2 weeks in a row, we've seen this happen. Both times against me, by the way. This one's
me too.
Though. Just nonchalant, just drop the ball and going into the end zone. Normally, I don't get too upset at things. That upset me because it's not only, I have a team here that depends on me. So there's 3 of us. I put up my own, you guys know what it is. It's $33,000. And now I farmed a little piece, some guy, I don't imagine this guy comes up to the studio. I'm doing a show on Visa, my normal Thursday show. A fan comes up to me and begs me, Crack, you're in Grandissimo. Can I please take a little piece of yours? Can I just take it? I said, well, listen, I don't even know you. I have no idea who you are. He said, I'm on Twitter with you. And I'm a little soft with the fans and people. I like to always try to help everybody. And I was like, listen, I got $33,300 on this contest. I don't even know you, but if you want to give me a piece, how much you want to take of mine? I'll let you take a piece of mine.
No, wait, what day of the week was this? Was this after the Rams lost or before?
No, this was before the contest started.
Oh, okay.
He's like, can I give you $333? I said, sure. So I took $333 off him, and I feel more bad for him than I do even me. I just was trying to be nice to them. But even my 2 partners, I was feeling bad for them, but then I thought about it. my one partner's got a private jet. He's got strip clubs up and down the East Coast, and you know what I mean. I'm not feeling too bad for him. You know, he flies into town on his own plane, like I said. But I felt pretty bad though, for myself even. Because the Rams went out and we avoided the Rams. Now we went with Arizona. I said, wow, this is going to be good. A lot of people, and sure enough, I think 15 people had in the Grandissimo had the Rams, so it was a nice little edge there. But the way we lost, listen, if this was a clear loss, so many things had to go right for Tennessee to win. It was the perfect storm. And just even though we're in the moment here, it's probably one of the worst money line losses.
Oh, I'm sure.
In the last 10 years that I could think of. And if you have money line Arizona, I mean, you know.
Teasers? I had Arizona in a ton of teasers.
Oh, wow. There you go. So if you have them in teasers, but some people had them with Buffalo, I'm sure, too, in teasers. So you got double knocked out there, and that's another reason. There was another few entries on Buffalo in these big contests.
A bunch of Chargers. I mean, yesterday was a literal bloodbath in terms of Survivor. So that's why I kind of just took solace in it. Outside of had we just went triple Colts, which I would have never done. I would have never went all in on the Colts.
Yeah.
Now where do we go from here?
Now I lost 12 Survivor entries too. That's $12,000 on Survivor entries. I lost. You know, I'm in this pool that this pool genius put up, and they said, "Oh, you're welcome. You're invited, and it's $10,000 free roll." I forgot to put my picks in. I was so mad. All three of my picks out. But let me just tell you something. When the Rams lost, I said, "Look at that. That was like an implied value of like $1,200, $1,500."
I used one Rams in my pool genius as well.
I would have had all three. I would have had all three in Arizona. So that's the only thing.
Okay.
I would have had all three Arizona. But I did have the Colts on. I have one pick left in my Survivors. So I have literally one pick left in my that I'm partners with, and it was really upsetting. And like I said, Sunday, bloody Sunday, and Thursday too. Also using Thursday, but you know we go on. You commented on a photo I put up last night. I still went out to dinner. I still want the Carbone for dinner. I mean,
life is good. Carbone can't afford to buy new plates though, but they can charge.
Oh, I was surprised. So what Kelly's saying is there was a chip plate in there. I didn't mention it. Someone else mentioned it in the comments, and you know he's right. So there was a cup. So now the waiter comes over, and there's a captain too. So was that the waiter or the captain? Oh, the captain. The captain comes over and says, "Yeah, we have a lot of chip plates. We leave it there." I'm just thinking to myself, how about I just had like mozzarella and tomatoes and burrata, and how about if a little chip goes in there like that? I don't get it. No, we leave it there.
I didn't even think about that. I think like New York City, like East Village, Little Italy, somewhere like hole in the wall mom and pop place that it gives the plates character. Right. Not at Carbone. Unacceptable at Carbone. And I guess I'm gonna go ahead and say, as somebody who worked and lived in Las Vegas, who would sit through absolute hell with the health department, there may be something with those chip plates that is not allowed. Because you're right.
I don't want to get him in trouble. I like it over there.
I like it too, but a piece of terracotta goes in my burrata, I'm not going to be very happy camper crunching on that thing.
Yeah. No, that place is great. And that's another thing last night. So there was a scene from Larry David's show, Curb Your Enthusiasm, that a captain comes over and says, "I'm the captain for the table." And there's this line on the tip thing. It says, "Tip for the waiter, tip for the captain." And Larry David doesn't know what to do. You don't tip a captain. The waiter will take care of the captain. Don't worry. Sure enough, he just tips the waiter. Waiter doesn't take care of the captain. They get mad at him. They block his car, and he can't get out of the restaurant. So, so you have to tip a captain. I was trying. What do you tip a captain? And they're very proper over there. But anyway, I don't mean to go off on food things. And I'm luckily enough that I play on the BetMGM app, and I have tons of comps there. So I have to use them sooner by the end of the year. So I used a little bit last night. But going back to football. I'm having a great season though. College football has been great. I had a good Sunday yesterday in the NFL. I'm having a good season, making money for customers and making money for myself. And I woke up. I never do that. I'm a real professional when it comes to you just get up and go and I woke up thinking about what happened in that Arizona game. 28-6, this whole turnaround, the perfect storm. But it is what it is. Like Tony Soprano says, it is what it is when something bad happens. And what are you going to do? That's what he says. What are you going to do?
Listen, you're absolutely right, Crack. I couldn't even be mad at Arizona. That was just such a facepalm. And even when they were up 2, I text John Murray and I said, you know that the Titans are going to win this game. He goes, game-winning field goal. We knew that with less than 3-4 minutes left. Like, you saw the inevitable happen. We watched these games enough that you know how the end result is going to be. And it was unfortunate, but we move on. You mentioned the Pool Genius Pool. We started off with 345 entries. There's only 82 of us left alive. I have 1 left that I used the poll on. So I will take, as I said, I split across the board. I didn't want to shove all in on one team this week because I did think that there was going to be some chaos. Now, there was a lot more than I thought there would be, but I'll take being 1 of 85 left there. As you mentioned, a free roll. I think you get to split the prize pool between yourself and charity.
Nice. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I would give it to an animal charity too. That's me.
Yep. I already got the dog rescue in mind. Don't you worry. Let's get into Monday Night Football. You mentioned your football season's been going very well. So let everybody know what you've got up over at WagerTalk.com and what you're thinking about for Chiefs Jags.
Well, if we go on air before the game, but if not, it's going to be on WagerTalk. I bet a prop live earlier on one of the shows, and I gave it out on the show also, like I said. So we actually bet Worthy over. Last week I bet him over too, Worthy over yards. You get it at a big discount this week because there was a question of an injury, but it's not a serious injury. So I think you get a discount on that over. So Worthy over is what I put up over there. And what'd you ask me about WagerTalk? Is that what you asked me?
Yeah, what do you got? So you've got it up over there for sale for your clients tonight? Okay.
Yeah. And Kel, I said it earlier with Andy. You know, I've sold picks for about 6-7 years, and the WagerTalk is what a deal for people. Honestly, they should get in for the season. And I even told them to maybe email the girls or see if they can. You can literally get the 1-year pass, or I say maybe you can get a pass till the end of the Super Bowl would be great because you get the Super Bowl props in there, which I really never lost.
Real quick, Crack. I'm on the site right now, and I know you're doing well in football, but right now you're almost hitting 63% in the MLB playoffs.
Well, yeah, it just started though. You know me, Kel. I don't brag about the short term, but yesterday I was on the Fox show, and my co-host, I hate to throw him under the bus. Well, sorry, Jeff. I heard him talk about, everyone's talking about Detroit, our producer, big Detroit guy. Everyone's talking about, Schoolball's pitching today. And I'm just looking at the line, and this really wasn't analytics. It was like, how can he be plus 138? How could Seattle be plus 138? Everyone talking about Detroit, everyone betting Detroit. Then the line maker that runs the lines comes on and says, everyone is betting Detroit today. Even though it's a football show, everyone's betting Detroit. That's one of their big risks in Michigan. I said, you know what? This is a good spot for Seattle because, as we all know, I put a tweet up yesterday, God protects the bookmakers. Bookmakers made a lot of money yesterday, by the way. I don't want to hear any of them crying the whole season. A few of my friends, too, I don't want to hear anything. That bucket, where's the bucket? I don't know. Oh, okay. The bucket will not be coming out. This bucket, this bookmaker pension fund bucket will not be coming out this season at all. I don't want to hear anything. You guys make a fortune. You made a fortune yesterday. You made your whole season yesterday. You know how many people bet teasers?
I know. Lines, the teasers have been doing so good that I just can't help myself.
So they just throw it in there as an accumulator. Oh, I'll just throw. Oh, it's the Sunday night game, Buffalo. Yeah, just throw it in there to enhance my parlay payout. Yeah, okay. And these people love betting parlays. I know it. They love betting parlays. That's the number one thing. I can't talk them off of it. Even my friends who know me, even they know me for years, they say, yeah, but Bill, the guy hit $5. He won $32,000. You didn't see that on the TikTok I sent you? And I said, listen, if you want to bet $5, if you're betting $100 a game, I have no problem with you betting a $5 parlay to have fun, yourself. But I know what happens, though. They bet parlays to get out. Now, the old New York, Philly bookmakers on Monday ended the week. The week went from Tuesday to Monday. They knew that Monday night was get out day. They let you bet Monday and let you settle that weekend's games because they know you'd be firing on Monday night. So
especially if you're down, they want you to fire. They want you to fire on Monday to try to chase. It's no different than when we had Pac-12 After Dark or those Mountain West Hawaii games. It's that get right after dark kind of game to try to get underneath your settle figure. I highly recommend people not doing that. Crack and I spend a lot of time trying to practice what we preach, showing discipline. Just because there is a football game on does not mean you need to bet it. Crack.
I bet a lot of baseball. I'm telling you now. But during the playoffs, I'll bet So I like some of these live dogs. But yet I won't send them out if I really don't like them. Like I bet the Reds the first game because I found in town here plus 185. I lost, but it was plus 172 everywhere at the sharp books. I just took because of the value. Yesterday, I thought that was a good to put that out there. I put it out for the WagerTalk people. I put out I don't want to jinx myself, but I put out Toronto for the series as a plus. I mean, they're a plus like 130, 140. I know the Yankees are the Yankees, and I know they could still come back.
You're paying a premium because their name on their jersey says the Yankees.
You're paying a premium with sports books for sure. People aren't betting Toronto. They can't even name 5 guys on the field, but they know everyone in the Yankees, in the dugout, in the bullpen. They know the guys that aren't even starting. Everyone knows the Yankees. There's always value going against the Yankees. And believe it or not, the Dodgers. I haven't done it yet, but I will be putting something out there, I'm sure, sooner or later against these Dodgers too.
Well, it makes sense. Listen, the Dodgers are $2 favorites almost every single game. All right, I'm going to put you on the spot. This wasn't something I asked you.
Yeah.
But now, since we're talking about playoff baseball, who do you think is going to win the World Series? Do you think there's any value at this point in time on putting a little bit of money on a team?
You know, I don't know if there's really no value of putting on one of the favorites. I can tell you that. So let me see what Toronto is. I'll just look real quick. Let me see what Toronto still is now. But they're up. They're up 2-0. So it's not going. You're not going to get the value you could have got before. But I didn't bet any. You know why I don't bet into this marketplace a lot, Kel? Because this. Listen, I'm friends with some of these guys, but the books. It's too juice heavy. You know, when you bet something plus 4-1, plus 5-1, plus 7-1.
Yeah.
If you're betting yes, no, that's different. If you're betting yes, no, it's different. But they're so juice heavy on a lot of these things. You're betting into 20-25% markets. And yeah, they don't have anything up on Toronto. I just wonder what Toronto was, what they would be now. But yeah, so I really don't. Maybe Toronto gets through. Check out them again. There are books right here in this town that have yes nos. Bet into a yes no market. Don't bet into a market where you're picking 5, 6, 7 teams. Bet yes no, much less hold.
All right. Can you kind of break that down one step further for anybody that doesn't know? So, for example, our friends at Circa do a yes no market.
Correct.
NFL, they'll do a yes no playoff market. They'll do yes no national championships, yes no playoffs for college football as well. So explain why that's a better value than taking a certain team at 5-1 and another team at 8-1 and so forth.
Yeah. So in a regular market, you may see with your bookmaker. Matter of fact, if you're playing with a local guy, you're definitely going to just see that. Usually they don't do yes nos. So they'll have each team plus 6-1, plus 7-1, plus 8-1, plus 9-1. Well, here's what's supposed to happen. Ideally, you're supposed to bet the plus 4-1. Now the other ones are supposed to go up from 900 to 920 or 925 plus 925. Most of the books don't do that. A good book will do that, but most of the books will not do that. They're just going to take the 4-1 and move the 4-1 to plus 375. Take the bet. That's the reason why the implied value is awful compared to betting something yes, no, where they will move either side of the bet. And therefore, you can get into markets here. There's some of these markets that have 30, 40, 50% hold rather than having a 5, 6, 8% hold on a yes, no. And by the way, there's not only Circa, our friends over at Westgate, which is the book I promote. I'll be blunt. I promote Westgate because I think Westgate has most unbelievable deals. 105 juice. They have 105 juice on the primetime games. I mean, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but
No, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Term,
it's 5 cents on every single dollar you bet. It's a lot. And for people that don't realize that, you are absolutely losing way more money than you need to when minus 105 is available.
Drink tickets. They have drink tickets. Go to the county and get drink tickets. I brought John Hoagland, our producer, over to Circa a couple weeks ago and had him film when I had the big entry in the Grandissimo. They wouldn't even pay for his parking. Here's press that's going to be on Instagram, TikTok, everywhere in the world. Now, listen, I'm friends with Derek. You think I'm going to go up to Derek and say, Derek, can you pay for his $15 park? No.
You're just going to pay for it. I get it.
I just want someone to have common sense and decision-making skills. We're just giving you press. We're giving you nothing but press. It's to do it. There's no real reason to do it. We're doing it for you guys. And I was mad at Circa that day. I get mad at certain things. I get mad at Mike Palm, the GM, going after one of the influencers and saying how he always thinks he's always right about everything. I get mad at these things. And let me be blunt, Kel. I talk about it. If trust me, if John Murray pisses me off, I'm saying something about him. Yeah, but he doesn't piss me off. He's so good.
No, we're
so
better
good.
at pissing him off than he is at pissing
No,
us.
you're right. No, but I mean, listen, I'm not trying to. I try to tell it like it is. In life, and listen, do I love Circa? Absolutely. Walk at the Circa. It's beautiful. Look at this book. You're in like heaven there. It is. But you know, certain things like that, I was mad.
Well, Craig, I think especially too in regards to local and local books, right?
Yeah.
Off strip casinos. Right now, everybody's talking about how bad it is on the strip. Well, that's because you got resort fees. That's because you got high parking fees, valet fees, all of these things. There was a shift there during COVID before I left where they were begging everybody to come, right? The government was giving out stimulus checks. They're begging everybody to come. And I understand that Vegas hit the opposite shift of what they wanted. So in order to kind of get things back in order, they had to start charging. But I think they've now priced out the common man.
Yes.
And when you do that, then those people are going to flock to off-strip casinos, which is great for our friends of those off-strip casinos. And that's fine if you want to charge the parking fees for Joe Schmo who rents a car that probably doesn't need to, $15 a day. But from a local's perspective, I feel like it should be like the golf courses. When you have a local Nevada ID, your parking should be validated. You just put in that Nevada ID, or you take your player's card. They know you're a local, and boom, the little handle goes up. You shouldn't need a manager. You shouldn't need John Murray to come out from behind the counter and stamp your ticket. It should just be done.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And you should tell people, hey, we want you guys to drive to our casino. We want you guys to come hang out, and we're going to take care of your parking. And maybe it means if you get it validated by the pit boss because you're playing $50 a hand at the blackjack table, or you walk in to the Superbook and you make $2,000 in wagers or $200 in wagers, that they then have to stamp it. But you're right. There's a lot of red tape that's going through Vegas right now that I think is completely unnecessary. And I think it's driving away consumers.
Yeah, you know, my father, God bless him, he wouldn't have went to a casino in Atlantic City if they charged for parking. It was $2 grocery dollars, $2 little dollars. It went to a CRDA fund, which did the city over. The money went into the city to revitalize it. See how good that went. The sewer, absolute sewer, Atlantic City. Should be embarrassed the people in charge there. But so my father would not go though to a casino if he had to pay. Now, this is a man who would go there like everyone else, lose his whole paycheck. He had fun. Our father went for it, you know. So you go in there, lose $500,000. You're risking that over $2 little grocery dollars. My father wouldn't go. He would go to a free parking only. And so people get mad at little things. You know, it's like, you know, little things. If they turn you down for a comp, you're a regular player. You go in, maybe they turn you down for a comp or something. And you know, I always try to tell these people that are in charge, they don't realize sometimes that a comp only costs them about 25% of the face value. If you're giving a $100 comp to a restaurant, it costs you $25. You're going to get people pissed off for $25. They're going to go back to their clubhouse, their locals up in Anthem, and I talk about all the seniors and everyone about local casino didn't do this for me. And, you know, well, I'm not going there either. You know, Meritage, whatever. You know, like they really get really, really mad. And sometimes it's the common sense. There's no common sense, and there's nothing common in common sense anymore. It's unbelievable sometimes. And you know what it is too? A lot of times these people that are in charge in the casino, they go home to their wife, and their wife bosses them around. So they got no choice. They got to be a boss somewhere.
That's a very good point. You're right, though. I've seen a lot of the station casinos, most notably the new Durango casino. I've seen some of their stuff on Saturday and Sunday, and they're just jam-packed. So again, those places don't charge certain things. It's not hard. You walk right up to the machine, you get your player's card. I mean, I remember before we left, Brett and I were the highest level at stations between the two of us. I never used my own player's card. I just always used his. Yep. We got tons of comps, anything we ever needed. I don't think we paid for a dinner there for 2 years. And guess what that turns into? Tipping the service staff more, coming back, choosing that casino over others, right? I mean, I made a big joke about being at this wedding all weekend, and John Murray said something about, you know, if I ever got married, I go, oh, I'm getting married at the Westgate. because I want everything covered. I want to pay
Right.
$0 for a wedding. We'll just belly up to the center bar there. I'll have to walk over to Velvet and get my $14 margaritas. But everybody else will just get drink tickets from John and just hang out there, watch the games, go to dinner at Edge Steakhouse, except he said he would only comp me Benihana. Can you believe that?
Wow. I went there the other night. It was really
good. Benihana's great. Don't want to
Benihana's
discredit that.
Great.
It's
I
great.
watched the games. I had some friends in town. I watched the games over at Thursday night. I watched the Rams game there and the Yankee game there. And what a great atmosphere the Westgate is. I like it.
It really is.
No smoking means
that's my favorite part.
That
is
no
my
smoking.
absolute favorite part.
It's a great sports book, and I couldn't believe it. I told my buddy, "Did you believe there's like nobody here? This is free seats, and all the seats are free there. I can't believe that people weren't there watching. What a great atmosphere to watch the games."
I will say that's kind of the other thing is that bottle service and that whole European style started to really get pushed hard when I first moved to Las Vegas. And I remember working at Caesars when I was at Bleacher Report, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to charge $150 for these seats." I'm like, no one's going to sit here. Now, I understand a booth. I understand the clubhouse. I understand, getting a premium seat you can charge for, or you charge a table minimum, food, drinks, whatever, which is very easy to hit anywhere in Vegas because you're paying $8 for a beer. But I do like that the Westgate still has that front row seating, those first, I think they're 4 rows, and it's completely general admission. First come, first serve. You can sit there and you can enjoy yourself. You still get a cocktail waitress that comes by. You still get plenty of attention, but they know you're going to go in there and you're going to make a bet. You're going to bet over the counter or on the app. And they say, "Oh, that's fine. Whoever gets here first, you get here at 6:00 in the morning, you can have a free seat. If you want a premium seat, that's also available." And I think that's where a lot of books have kind of gone awry, is that charging, $125 for one seat. I mean, I can drink, but I can't drink that much crack.
Yeah, no, you can go to Caesars and they still charge for the seats. They charge just for a regular seat there. I mean, it really is. It's just a shakedown over there. And I say about these other places, like, even though I'm thrown off the Stations app for winning, it doesn't matter. I promote Stations because I love the atmospheres for the games there. I love the Durango's you could sit at a restaurant overlooking the sports book, and the sports book's great over there. The guy that runs the sports book at Durango is such a nice guy. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, but I met him a couple times. He was very nice. I went over there with some friends, and just the local deals. There's a $1.99 frozen margarita now at the Stations properties, a $5 burger now at the Station property. They're bringing back those kind of prices. Now, granted, South Point has that, and so does Stations. They have like the midnight to 6, which is like a deal for like steak and eggs for like $7. I mean, there's some great deals in Vegas on some off times, or there's these deals that you just look. Listen, I'm a big YouTube guy. I watch a lot of the deals. Just put searches in. You could search for a lot of the deals, at the local casinos. I'm all about that. So yeah, good stuff. No, it's amazing. I'm zero prepared for this show we're doing. I have no idea.
I never send you an outline or anything.
Nothing,
we just turn it on and hit record and
just talk about what happened and what's going on. Yeah, no,
absolutely.
It's great. And we appreciate the people liking, subscribing, and your comments are welcomed if they're nice. And that's it.
Absolutely. Crack has a play up $9 for the MLB playoffs right now over at WagerTalk.com. So head over there and get that. Crack, Xavier Worthy over passing yards for tonight.
Yeah.
Any opinion, side or total?
Well, I did give out, but it's not fair to give it out now. That's why I didn't give it out on the show. I gave out -3, -20 when it was available a couple days ago, about 5 days ago.
The reason why I ask is I'm very live right now. I am tied for first place.
Right.
In a splash contest. Actually, I lied. I'm tied for second place. Last night was first. I laid it with the Bills, and once those selections lock, you can't change it. I wish, it gets locked on Thursday after you play the Thursday night game, or before you play the Thursday night game. But I didn't get to change that. I do have the Jags plus 3.5, and kind of wondering if I should hedge. Unfortunately, it's kind of difficult to do.
Yeah, go with your pick.
Okay.
Go with your pick. Yeah, go with your pick. Absolutely. Don't ever change nothing, because it's an NFL side. It's literally, if someone hits 55% for the season, they're a genius handicapper. I know it sounds hard to do. I'm sorry, it sounds easy to do, but trust me, it's hard to do.
It's not easy to do, and it's actually funny. I'm in another contest where my partner and I got to double check, but I think it's like 43-19. I'm not even joking. He has me pick all the plays, and I'm thinking, wow, if I just played this every single week, Let's
Yeah.
look and see the standings really quickly. I am 46 and 31. Where was I getting that other number? 46 and 31 in the NFL through week 5.
That number won me a contest. I was 46. And it's funny you say that number. Over at the end when they first opened, when they had the Cantor contest, that's what I did to win that contest over there. So there was only 10 of us in the contest, but it was a very big contest. So yeah, so good. You're having a good season there. Good deal. So am I. Like I said, we're having good seasons. I didn't mean to come in salty because it's because of Survivor, which doesn't involve WagerTalk. In WagerTalk, we're at, like I said, we're going to have a good season, and that's going to continue.
Okay, sounds great.
Right.
I hope you have a profitable NFL Week 6. I need college football to go my way this weekend. Couple of double-digit outright losers after they were up 2 or 3 scores was kind of a dagger for me, but we're going to turn it around. Appreciate you. I'll send you a text, see what you like by Wednesday or Thursday. WT.buzz/Crackman. You guys can get all of Crack's plays over at WagerTalk.com.
Wednesday night college football. What? October must be here because we have 2 Wednesday night national TV games. Hey, it's great betting opportunities. I'm going to give them both to you free in this video. Free plays in both of your Wednesday night national TV games with analysis coming up right here, right now. Hi, it's Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com, right back here on WagerTalk TV. And Conference USA doesn't mess around. They don't wait till Saturday. They start playing games on Wednesdays, and we got some Tuesday games, I believe, starting next week as well. So, hey, make sure when you subscribe here to WagerTalk TV, you click that bell as well so you never miss out when one of these weeknight free play videos is posted this football season. Conference USA action. And by the way, I think it's a great idea to do these midweek games if you're a smaller conference. Why compete with the big boys on Saturday? Standalone national TV audience, and you stagger the schedule so it kind of works all season long. What are your thoughts on that? Drop it in the comments below. I do truly read the comments and I reply back. Do you like these Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night college football games from these mid-major conferences? I do. And I do think there's a couple betting opportunities in these 2 games this Wednesday night. Let's start with the first one at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN2. The Deuce, Missouri State and Middle Tennessee State. Yes, Missouri State is an FBS team. They're not even showing in some of the preseason annuals this year, but this is their first season in Conference USA, and they are playing a full FBS schedule, and they're off to a decent 2-3 straight up, 3-2 against the spread start. Meanwhile, Middle Tennessee has been a power over the years, and this conference is not off to a good start. 1-4 straight up and against the spread. So not a surprise that we see Missouri State as a road favorite in this game, currently -2.5, below that key number of 3. And as long as it stays at 3 or less, I do like Missouri State, not Middle Tennessee, Missouri State, the road favorite in this game on Wednesday night for a few reasons. First of all, line value. About an 8 to 9% chance Missouri State wins this game by exactly 3 points. So at -2.5 or less, we are getting some line value still. By the way, play this sooner than later. We're seeing 2.5s, -15 out there. Maybe it hits that key number of 3 by kickoff. So if you like Missouri State, the favorite, you lay the 2.5 sooner than later. If you like Middle Tennessee, MTSU, then you hold off until near kickoff. Maybe you get that key number of +3. But I'd rather have the road team in this one. And I like the matchup here. You always have to be careful overreacting to the September schedule for these small conference teams because they get blown out quite often. And that was the case with Missouri State. They went into USC. First year as an FBS program, they don't mess around. They start August 30th at USC as a 5-touchdown dog. They lose by 60, 73-13. So that's really kind of skewed the stats overall. But they've played pretty good football since. 2-2 straight up, 3-1 against the spread their last 4. The only loss straight up in ATS during that span was against Western Kentucky a week ago as a 4-point home dog. They lost by 5. Pretty solid game, though. They had over 200 yards passing and rushing in that game against WKU, who's one of the better teams in the conference. I like that balanced attack, and it's really the first time they got the running game going this year. First 3 weeks of the season, they were averaging only about 60, 70 yards a game on the ground. They've had over 340 rushing yards the last 2 games combined against Tennessee Martin and Western Kentucky. And that running game is going to be an added benefit in this because on the season, their rushing stats are nothing special. Middle Tennessee, by the way, has been weak against the run, but they've been really, really weak against the pass. Middle Tennessee's given up almost 9 yards per pass attempt this year. And even with a fairly tough schedule, Missouri State has thrown the ball extremely well, averaging over 8 yards per pass against teams that allowed just 7.6. Once again, Middle Tennessee giving up 8.9. So I like the passing advantage for Missouri State here. Now that they've got the run game going as well, looks like a pretty good offensive team here, and that is not the case with Middle Tennessee. I hate taking bad offensive teams and asking them to do something good for you, especially in a straight-up win situation. And if you back the Blue Raiders, that's exactly what you're doing. On the season, they're averaging only 16 points a game, only 4.9 yards per play, and they've struggled to run and throw the ball. I like Missouri State here at -2.5 on Wednesday night at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN2. Going to get your other game in a moment, Liberty UTEP at 8 o'clock Eastern Wednesday night. Quick reminder, I put bonus free plays on my page each and every day along with my personal best bets. And you can go to my page to check them out right now, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. I've got an advanced NFL free play for this Sunday on my page right now. Last week I gave you the Saints over the Giants as an advanced NFL free play. I've got another early NFL free play for you for this Sunday up right now on my page. So go check it out, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com, and get there quicker with the shortcut link, wt.buzz/SM. All right, let's look at this later game at 8 o'clock Eastern on CBS Sports Network Wednesday night. Liberty and UTEP, another Conference USA battle. And this one sees, once again, a road favorite of around that 2 to 2.5 price range. Liberty right now laying 2 in some spots, 2.5 in others. So not sure it'll get to that key number of 3. But once again, if you like the Flames, if you like the road team, why risk it? Lay the 2, 2.5 now. If you like UTEP, you wait and try to get that key number of +3. And by the way, if you're new to sports betting, why do I say those key numbers, half points? Well, it's not like basketball where every point spread is basically equal, 1, 2, couple hundred points scored. Football, you have very unique scoring, 3s and 7s. And not a surprise, 3 and 7 are the 2 most key margins of victory, followed by 10, 14, 21, 17. It all makes sense. So it really is important to shop around and get the best price when you're hovering around this key number of 2, 2.5, 3. However, I'm going to stay away from the side in this game and look at the total instead between Liberty and UTEP. And I like the under 47.5 for a couple reasons. First of all, the early line was 45.5, quickly got bet up to 47.5 on Monday. I disagree with that move. Both 47 and 48 are key numbers. Could we possibly get a 48 perhaps? You might want to, again, hold off on this one and play it later and maybe try to get under 48. But even at 47.5, we get that key number of 47 working in our favor. And these are 2 teams that have struggled this year. They both come into this game 1-4 straight up. Liberty 1-4 against the spread. And it really has been a huge drop-off this year for the Flames. Third year of the head coach, Jamie Chadwell, they went 21-5 straight up the last 2 seasons. Only 12-13 against the spread, though. They were big favorites in a lot of those games, including last year when they routed UTEP 28-10 but didn't cover as a 24-point home favorite. Now they're just a 2-point road favorite. That shows how much they've fallen this year, and they've now lost 4 straight after beating Maine, an FCS team, in the season opener. They've gone 0-4 in their 4 FBS games, the last 4 games. Really don't trust them. They have gone under in 4 of their 5, and as often is the case when a team really regresses that quickly one year to the next, it's usually offensive problems. That's exactly what Liberty's having. They're averaging only 17 points a game, only 5.3 yards per play, so no way I'm laying 2 with them on the road here in this situation. But do we trust UTEP? I'm not sure. They're averaging just 20.5 points a game and barely over 5 yards per play this season. And the thing that jumps out to me is they've actually been a pretty good defensive team, giving up just 5 yards per play against a schedule that averaged 5.7. Now you've got Liberty, who's averaging just 5.3 on the year. Flames are decent throwing the ball, but UTEP's been a pretty good pass defense this year. They're allowing just 7.1 yards per pass against teams that average 7.4. That's pretty much what Liberty does. And the UTEP run defense has been pretty strong as well, and that's really been the strength of the Liberty offensive attack. They average 165 rushing yards a game. They only throw for 175. Once again, Liberty is a run-based offense that gets nearly half their yards on the ground this year. UTEP giving up just 3.7 yards per carry against teams that average 4.4. Liberty has struggled stopping the run, but I'm not sure UTEP can take advantage. They're barely averaging 100 rushing yards per game this year. So I look for both defenses to hold the edge. 2 offenses that are averaging just 17 and 21 points a game. Sign me up for the under 47.5 between Liberty and UTEP on Wednesday night. That's at 8 o'clock Eastern on CBS Sports Network. Hey, there you go. 2 ugly games, but I do think there's some betting opportunities on Wednesday night, both standalone national TV games. So I'm sure many of you are going to be playing them. Let me know your thoughts on these games. What sides or totals do you like Wednesday night? Hey, what other games do you like on Thursday and Friday? We've got 7 more Thursday and Friday college football games. A lot of weeknight games this week in college football. Drop your thoughts below in the comments. Hey, include some analysis if you have time. Let's learn and earn and win together here on WagerTalk TV. And don't forget, if you're liking these free play videos, all I ask is a thumbs up like. Boom, click it. Took 2 seconds. The more thumbs up, likes, the more free play videos I'll do, not only for these weeknight college football games, but also the huge national matchups on Saturdays. NFL free play videos throughout the week. I try to give you the Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night national TV games every week in the NFL as well. If you're finding it useful, thumbs up, like, and a positive comment below is all I ask here on WagerTalk TV. And once again, make sure you click subscribe and you click that bell for an instant alert so you know when these midweek games go up each and every day of the week. Not only college and pro football free play videos, but baseball playoffs are here. Basketball starts in just a few weeks. Best bets. It's so simple. If I have a best bet that I'm using, my clients get it. It's been that way since I became a full-time professional handicapper back in August of 1996, over 29 years ago. If I'm using a play, all my paid clients get it. And you too can get my personal best bets on my page each and every day. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. And now is a great time to jump on football. We enter this week on a 75% all sports run over the past week in college and pro football and baseball combined. And right now, you don't have to decide if you want one 30-day package for college or a 30-day package for the NFL. You can get them both for the price of one with promo code FB30.
Tigers game. And just 1-0, easy day. So we'll see if we can parlay that into today. Vino, it's good to be back with you. We do have some WNBA to talk about today, but how's everything been for you lately?
Things have been good, Ski. I did not play yesterday, but I had a play on the Chiefs team total over 24.5 Monday night. And, NFL, and knock on wood here, 6-0 again this weekend in the NFL. It's been a crazy, crazy run. I think it's up to somewhere around 24-5, last 29 now. So doing very, very well in the NFL. Look to get back into it today with some WNBA. I didn't play the game Sunday. The game that Las Vegas won pretty big. I turned out to be a fairly easy bet, but I just didn't see it clear enough. So we'll see if we got a clear sight on this one tonight.
A little bit further recap. I did lose on the Chiefs on Monday. I will throw that out there. I was a little bit upset about that. Guy falls down twice, gets back up and walks in. Thanks a lot, Chris Jones. You fucking lazy ass. Just sitting there watching him. Not even trying, bro. Not even trying for my money.
Lawrence said he wanted to just throw the ball out of bounds until he looked up and saw nobody was going to tackle him. So
yeah, that was pathetic, bro. Looking at Chris Jones, the whole play was pathetic. But he's made me a lot of money over the years. I can't bash him too much, but that was very, very poor effort. The weekend though, NFL was good. We talked about some of that stuff, Robbie. Lions was a winner. What what I said with those Chargers again? Oh,
hell no.
Give me those Commanders, buddy. That was easy. NFL was good over the weekend. I think the only loser I had was Seattle, -3.5, but I had a few other winners. So, I'm feeling good right now. Anything else you want to touch on before we tackle today's games?
Now let's get after it. We haven't been on for a while. Let's get after it.
All right. First game up. We know we do the ladies first around here. It looks like 783, 784. Phoenix Mercury heading into Las Vegas to take on the Aces. And this one opened up -2 for Phoenix. I'm seeing pretty much 4.5 everywhere now. Total opened 165, and it looks like 163.5. As far as injuries are concerned, I don't see anybody for either team here, Mr. Robino. So the Aces are up 2-0. The Mercury could have stolen that first game. I don't know too much about the second game, but they were right there in that first game. However, that first game, Asia kind of struggled. Jackie struggled. You're not going to get that too often. So it was tough for them not to be able to take advantage of, the star players not playing well for Vegas in that first one. But now you go from Las Vegas, you go back over to Phoenix. You got that home crowd behind you, and we know the situation. It might be the first time in WNBA that they've had a 7-game series, but if you're an NBA bettor or a fan, you're not new to this. When a team is down 0-2 and they're going back home, it is absolute desperation. You cannot go down in the series 0-3, right? So it makes sense why we've seen, Vegas the favorite the first 2 games, and we see Phoenix open the favorite and continue to get bet up. I do think Phoenix is more than capable of winning. And in a situation like this, maybe even, first half, expecting them to throw that first punch, first quarter, first half. I mean, we've seen this before, right, Ravino? So
Yes, we have.
from a side perspective, I mean, is that how you're seeing it? Or are you looking more at the total? What do you think about this one?
Now, I played the side ski, but I got there early and laid 3.5. So the number has gone up, like you say, to 4.5 now. And just for some form of context to how odds makers will shade sense of urgency teams for first half betting, the Mercury are now in upwards of -3. I think there's still, as I look here, Ski, there's still some -2.5s around for the first half. If you think they're going to come out and just right out of the tunnel, be ready to roll here, I wouldn't put it past them whatsoever. First quarter is only -1.5. So any of those I would support. But I did play full game -3.5. And obviously we play these NBA playoff games almost the same way. The sense of urgency spot. If you have a good team at home, which I believe Phoenix is a good team at home, backs against the wall, 0-2. At home here, they've been really good in the playoffs, right? They're on a 3-0 streak against the spread. They've won all 3 by 5 or more. So you're probably, by that number, you're really, really, you've got a thin margin at -4.5 and, wins of 5+. Those pair of games in Las Vegas, Phoenix actually played 6 really good quarters out of 8. It was 2 quarters that really got them. But if you take the other 6, Phoenix did outscore the Aces 139-136. The fourth quarter of game 1, the second quarter of game 2, where Phoenix only scored 15 and 10 points, were the difference makers in both of those games, really, to lead the Aces to the 2-0 spot. I think that let's use some NBA references again that we would use in the playoffs where role players play better at home. Sammy Wickham and Duana Bonner better play better at home because they were horrendous in those first 2 games. Throw some numbers out there for you. Bonner, who was a really good scorer and clutch bench player for them to end the regular season, 5 of 18 from the floor, 27.8%, only 2 of 9 from 3. And Sammy Wickham's on the floor to make threes. She's 2 of 10, 20% from distance. So those 2 at home specifically need to play better. They did do that in the New York series when they were at home. They played a lot better on the Phoenix home floor, averaging 17.5 per game combined. The starters have been doing their job. Sabali was good in game 1, good in game 2. Alyssa Thomas, I don't know if the hand bothered her in game 2 a little bit, maybe, but she's had a day off now. I'd expect AT to be really good here as well. Claire Copper too. Just feel like they're the right side here. And I do think that the bench will come through. It was the bench, the game that you talked about earlier, where Asia and Jackie Young didn't play well. How about the bench in that game for Las Vegas? So,
Dana,
she
Dana
was awesome.
And Jewel, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the 2 combined, they lit it up in that game. So I think that could happen here for Phoenix. Like you say, going down 0-3, you basically are toast at that point. So I played Phoenix full game -3.5. Like I say, thinner margin if you're going to lay 4.5 late, ass end of the line, but still doable for Phoenix in a lot of different situations here. Like you mentioned, first quarter, first half possibilities too.
I like it. We didn't talk really about the total so far, but it did drop from 165 down to 163.5. I mean, I'll ask you this, when you think of the Mercury, what kind of team, like, are they more of a defensive team or offensive team?
Well, it's funny because I know you pointed this out when we talked about game 1 in the playoffs. The Mercury were the number 1 defensive team coming in, and the Aces were the number 1 offensive team. And certainly offense got the better of defense in the first 2. I kind of view Phoenix as a combination. I've said before, and I feel like when they shoot threes, they're very, very tough when they make threes. And just to give you the number, game 2, 5 of 28 from 3-point range. That's not going to do it for Phoenix. But I do think they're kind of a combination because they can play with pace and score in bunches. And they actually had a lead in game 1 But for where the Aces are concerned, I really view them as more of an offensive team than defensive. They play it in spurts, kind of when Becky gets mad, they'll tighten up, but they can be had for, 85 on any given night. So, yeah, that's how I view Phoenix. I view Phoenix as kind of a combination team, offense and defense.
I agree with your assessment. I think after, you've seen the Aces have a lot of success. They've scored damn near 90 points in both games, and you're the number one defense. I mean, that has to ring an alarm. I think that's a side that they'll be focused on today, especially being back at home. So I would think I agree with the market on both the side and the total in this game. Anything else before we move it along to some baseball?
No, I like that we both see it the same way here, so we can move on.
Shout out to my guy, UCapper says, what up, Ski and Vino? And Casey, I appreciate you. She says, background fire, Ski. Man, I appreciate it because, well, first of all, let me see if I can do this just real quick. Yeah, you can see a little bit more real quick. But anyway, I took my time doing this yesterday, and you can see this, Casey. Everybody can see this right here. This little mark right here. It's trying to set something up and get falling, busting me in my nose. So I'm glad you guys at least liked the backdrop. It was not all for nothing. All right, let's keep it going here. We got a little baseball to talk about. It's playoffs there too. So we'll go Brewers and Cubs. We're only going to talk about 2 out of the 4 games. We're not going to do too much on the diamond. But you do have the Cubs as the slight favorite here. Total did open, I believe, 7. Came down to about 6.5. And in this matchup, we have Quinn Priester versus Jamison Taillon. Priester, I mean, he looks like he's been pretty good lately. His last 5 starts, he's going about 4.8 innings, only allowing 1.4 runs, 1.2 earned runs. Taillon, man, I know I haven't liked him that much over the years, but he's pitching damn good right now. Last 5 starts for him, 4.27 innings pitched, not even giving up a run, 0.6 runs. So I'm looking at this one here, Ravino. I think these are 2 of the better bullpens in baseball. At least they're playing well right now. And these 2 pitchers in really good rhythm, really good form. You got some wind blowing in a little bit. It was in the double-digit number. This is all lining up to me for an under. Give me that 6.5 under at even money. That's what I'm liking here, Ravino. What about you? You're muted. We can't hear you, Vino. Can't hear you.
I got you. I'm sorry. I think the dog was mad at something again, so I muted for a second. I played Taillon first 5 innings here. Like you say, Ski, the numbers have been terrific. Last 23 innings, only 2 earned runs allowed. Cubs in that desperation spot here. Really don't want to trust bullpens as we watch these games go by. Even as good as the LA Dodgers have been, the 8th inning has been a nightmare for them as well. So I think that I'd rather stick with the starter here. Quinn Priester, it's an interesting story. The Brewers won 19 games in a row that he started this year.
Wow.
And then finally in his last game of the regular season, he got hit pretty good. And you just wonder if that doesn't carry over here. Road playoff game, young pitcher, where, like you say, Taillon more veteran and has been dominant as of late. So I think if I just match those 2 up head to head, I trust the Cubs offense to get me enough to get through 5 innings. The price is pretty good here. You get a plus price with the Cubs. So that's the way I looked. The desperate team at home with what I consider at this point to be the more capable pitcher. Let's put it that way.
All right, good stuff on that. I think we have some good angles in that game. And let's talk about one more here before we get out of here for the day. That's going to be your neck of the woods and my neck of the woods. Phillies and Dodgers. We have Aaron Nola versus Yamamoto. And my bad, let me just pull this up. I mean, I do know, I'm a Dodger fan. And even if I don't follow full year long, I know I've seen enough from Yamamoto where that's one of the pitchers that I trust him. And seeing how Dave Roberts has used him lately, like earlier in the year, from what I was looking at, it looked like he didn't really trust him. But lately, it's either he trusts him more or he doesn't trust the bullpen. So I think we'll have an extended, how do I say, extended outing from Yamamoto in this one. If you're one of those people who bets pitcher outs, I could see him going over his outs prop for tonight. And as long as he's out there, I trust him to hold down this Phillies lineup. For the Phillies, I think it's going to be a little bit of, if they see even a little bit of shakiness, you're getting pulled. But I have faith in Nola a little bit the first time through the lineup at least. So I was thinking about an under here, Ravino. I just haven't gotten there yet. Is there anything else that catches your eye in Phillies at Dodgers?
Yeah, it's great. When you said my neck of the woods, it made me laugh because the people here in Philly, I don't think they like my kind too much because I'm a Dodger fan like you. They come in here and win 2 against the Phillies. And I'm a Broncos fan, and they come in and beat the Eagles. So the 3-day weekend for me was great. For the people in Philadelphia, it was not good. This matchup in particular, there's been nobody better than Yamamoto as of late. I give you some numbers here. Last 8 starts, 53 and 2/3 innings over 8 starts, 1.53 ERA, 0.72 whip. Other side hitting just 164 against Yamamoto since the All-Star break. This one absolutely floored me, Ski. There have been 210 plate appearances against Yamamoto since the All-Star break. Only 3 extra base hits. That's crazy.
Wow.
All 3 were homers, but only 3 extra base hits. The only start he had against Philly this year, he went 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 run allowed. He got out of there with a no decision because the Dodger offense didn't support him well in that game in Philly. But their offense has been good last 10 games, and it's been good in the playoffs. Dodgers 58 runs in their last 10, 27 in the 4 playoff games. Aaron Nola, 8 road starts this season, 0-6, 6.97 ERA on the road. Not really good. The Phillies' first 5 inning record with Nola on the hill, 2-5-1. The last 4 road outings, first 5 for Nola, have resulted in a 1.79 whip, 8.3 ERA. This feel like you can trust Yamamoto. Now, Dave Roberts, I have trouble trusting because it seems like he's got it made with the staff that he has here in the playoffs. In other words, the bullpen that's killed them the last month doesn't necessarily have to be used in these games. We saw him go to Tyler Glass now, a starter in relief. We've seen Rory Sasaki be the closer in these games. You've got Clayton Kershaw, another starter that you could use for an inning or 2. And yet last game, he insisted on going to Blake Trinan and Alex Vesia, and they almost lost that game. I mean, it got kind of crazy at the end when he really didn't have to. I don't think that happens here, Ski. The pitching staff has had a day of rest. For Philly, it'll be all hands on deck. But Christopher Sanchez, the starter in game 1, only 3 days rest. I don't know that you could use him, and you certainly can't use Jesus Luzardo, the starter in game 2. Both of those guys threw really well. But the Dodgers' offense against the rest of those pitchers, I think, is in pretty good shape here. Real quick, one last thing here about Aaron Nola. He's allowed a 325 on base percentage this year and 805 OPS. Those are just bad numbers. I like the Dodgers' first half with Yamamoto. I laid the half a run. It cost me 15 cents, but Dodgers -0.5 first 5. I think that's a solid play.
I like it. Good stuff on that. And Mark says he likes Yamamoto over his strikeouts there tonight. So a lot of different ways to bet this one. I think if I'm betting that game, as of right now, Yamamoto over his out seems like the best way to go for me. All right, Vino. Looks like we can wrap it up. We're not going to talk any college football today. So before we do move it over to best bets, let's see what we can throw up on the screen. Are we still doing Weekend Warrior, right? So
yeah, I think they're going to keep doing that. Yeah,
we'll toss that up there. Weekend Warrior. It allows you to get every football play from the handicapper of your choice for only $49. 5% are included. You get Monday Night Football as well. And for myself, I'll just say this season, I'm 4-0 on my top plays in NFL. And I already have one up and available. So it would be included if you got this Weekend Warrior pass. Vino, I know football has been good for you. Anything you want to touch on for football there?
Yeah, real quick, like I said, Ski, I think the numbers bear out that at WagerTalk, I'm on top of the heap so far in NFL handicapping, but I do know for a fact it's been 24-5, excuse me, over the last 29 plays. So it's been really, really good. Another 6-0 weekend, like I said. Just for the NFL, $49 probably worth it. So once again, Weekend Warrior package. I will throw out one more time here, Ski, because I haven't done it in a while. And those of you who are playing these things seriously every single day, want to be on top of the lines, want to be on top of the moves, want to be on top of the injuries, go ahead and get a free 7-day trial to Odds Logic. Go over to WagerTalk.com. The Odds Logic live odds screen is as good as any in the business, maybe better than any in the business. So again, if you're taking it seriously each and every day, and it's more than just a hobby for you, you probably want to get on top of that. Give it a 7-day trial. If you like it, you can go ahead and purchase. If you don't like it, you don't have to have no obligation with that. So once again, Odds Logic, go ahead and get your free trial at WagerTalk.com. Free play. The games we talked about, I like a lot here tonight, Ski, but I'll leave everybody with the Phoenix Mercury. Well,
how do I put you on here? Hold on. My bad. There we go.
I got the better number. So I won't give out the Mercury as the best bet here. I'll go to the Cubs with Tyon. First 5 innings, minus a half a run, plus in the vicinity of, lines vary so much in baseball, but you can find yourself either taking $1.15, you can find yourself taking $1.25. Go ahead and shop it the best you can. But I do think the Cubs at home in this particular situation will be up by a run after 5. So I'm going to leave that as the best bet for this show. Cubs with Tyon, first 5 innings, minus half a run.
All right, good stuff from Mr. Ravino. And for myself, I will also remind everybody that I do have a 5% best bet in the W up for tonight. So far, I'm 12-5 in the playoffs, and my 5%, they've been really good. They've been better than 12-5, I'm pretty sure. So if you would like to be involved with me in the W tonight, that is how you can do it. My best bet for the show for today, I'm going to go to the diamond. I'm going to go with that first game we talked about. Priester, he's been pitching well. Tyon's been pitching well. Both strong bullpens, wind blowing in. I think it's a lower scoring game. So I believe it was plus 102 for under 6.5. That is what I will leave for the best bet for the show. So I like that. We'll start rocking like that with the single one for the best bets. Look, I'm still learning a little something, Ravino. All right. Appreciate you taking the time to come and cap these games with me. Helps out my process. I'm sure you help everybody else as well. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Good people, good cappers, and we all just trying to help each other cash. Everybody else out there, whether it's Twitch, X, Kick, Spotify, Apple, we appreciate you as well. Thursday Night Football tomorrow, we'll be back for that, and we will catch you all then. Best of luck on all your action.